on the ANIX status. Let's see the agenda today. So we start a little bit late, sorry for that. We will start with the opening remarks, and then we have the ANIX update. We will talk with RIPE and CC about connectivity in South Europe and Eastern Europe. We have an important update on legislation and regulation for internet operators in Albania. And then the most important part of the morning, the coffee break. And later, PNDB update with Livio Morina and the ISOC update with Anne Creighton. And then this big panel cross-border digital cooperation. We have a lot of people from all the countries around Albania. We are really happy to have everyone here today. I want to remark what happens in the afternoon as well. Antonio Prado will take this BGP workshop. It's just not like teacher-student workshop. It's very interactive. There are a lot of exercises, tips and tricks. It's a very rare opportunity to take your hands on BGP. So please, if you are interested, say your name outside so we know how many people will attend the BGP workshop. And then finally, we will end our meeting with final aperitivo offered by NAMEX. This event will not be possible without our sponsors, so thank you, really thank you to RIPE and CC, Convergence, Flex Optics, and NAMEX as well. Usually, if you go to the Northern Europe or to the British countries, they are really interested in, say, the most important things. So outside there are the toilets on this floor. And the coffee break, you already saw where it is. We'll have lunch in the same floor. So the only thing which doesn't happen here is the BGP workshop, which will be on the first floor. So these are just like anything you need to know. The other thing important, I don't see a lot of people with the headphones. There are 60 headphones outside. So there is a live translation from Albania to English and English to Albanian. So if you need them, feel free to take your headphone. So let's start with the opening remarks from today. I would start with a person that couldn't attend in person, but is here. He is in Zoom. And I know that he is somewhere. Daniel Kjapesh from DG Connect. Good morning, Daniel. Can you hear me, Daniel?
Yes, I can hear you very well, thank you.
Welcome to our meeting. You can, everyone is waiting for your words. We cannot hear you. Maybe you are not saying anything. You wanted to say something, or there is some connection issues? Oh, great, we can see you.
Normally it works.
Now it works.
Sorry, because I thought there was supposed to be interpretation, but I'm not sure that it's working in Zoom, so I'm a little bit trouble following the discussion now.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I don't know, is this now my turn to speak, or will it be later? I'm not sure actually what.
No, you are live now. So you can start your speech.
So is it now my turn to speak?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I cannot hear anything. Thank you very much. Apologies about it, because once again, I thought there would be interpretation, but apparently it's not working with Zoom, so I was not really able to follow very well. But it's yeah. So first of all, I would like to thank you very much for the invitation. And especially given that this is a highly relevant topic of cross-border cooperation. For the European Commission and for the European Union, cooperation with the accession countries is very important. We are actually doing it both in the legislative part and also in the practical part. So in the legislative part, as many of you will know, there is a whole chapter in the EU law which is about information society and media. And there we have ongoing discussions with the accession countries, which is progressing fine. There are very good examples of where this cooperation is already working well. For example, we have good examples of roaming or digital identity. So in countries like Ukraine and Moldova, we have recently announced this extension of roaming through the roaming like at home. In a similar way, also the Western Balkans countries, they have their own regional arrangement on roaming for many years now. So these are, I think, good examples of such cooperation already in place. But we also are trying to develop new initiatives in this area which could help. Very recently, there was an announcement about the AI factories antennas. And there we are actually trying to develop also all the additional systems. So in the first example, it will be the digital connectivity. And this is what will be needed in the countries who are hosting the antennas. But also in the neighboring countries. Because we want to connect the antennas with users across the accession countries. For them, such kind of robust and high-speed connection will be very important. The second element is the data centers, which we are looking into right now. And the third element will be this broader ecosystem. So all the different users and community who will be using the AI factories antennas. I'm not sure if the audio is working well. Can you please confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well. Thank you.
All right. So I will just continue because I think that interpretation stopped. Maybe there is some kind of problem with that, but I will continue in the meantime. So as I mentioned, these three elements, connectivity, data centers, and ecosystem, is something which we are trying to build in connection with this establishment of the AI factories antennas. And this sort of package will be, I think, a very good example of how we can connect different countries into this broader system, and then also with the high-performance computers in the EU. There is also one additional element which we are working on. Maybe you're already aware that the European Commission has regular calls for proposals to establish what we call the European Digital Innovation Hubs. And this is also something which we want to use in connection with the AI factories antennas to help build this kind of community, to help work a little bit closer with the different users, with the academia, with the universities, research organizations, with small businesses, startups, scale-ups, and so on. So again, we try to do this through this kind of ecosystem approach to the antennas themselves. So this is just one part, the more practical part, which we are working on now. There is also a new element which we introduced last year and which we call the EU Tech Business Offer. It's part of our international digital strategy. And that's where we try to balance a little bit the interest of the European Union and also of our partner countries around the world, including the accession countries. Now, we are working on this with a set of trusted partners, and we try to do it in what we call this Tech Team Europe approach, where we work jointly between the European Union, the member states, and also in collaboration with the businesses. We try to establish these links between the accession countries and their business on one side, and connect them, across the region also with the EU businesses, the EU member states on our side. So maybe one thing which we should probably keep in mind is that this accession process, while in essence, there's a lot of legislative work, there will be actually a very practical goal in mind, because at the end of the process, the successful countries will join the single market and will become part of the EU. And I think that this is something which will be very much kept in mind. It's not just, this kind of very technical procedure, but it's a very practical goal which we have in mind. And already now, the Commission is actually trying to encourage businesses in the accession countries to advance where they can, to advance a little bit more rapidly with the preparations on a purely voluntary basis. So it's not something which, is somehow imposed, it's something which which we are trying to encourage the businesses to do. Because this, in our view, I think would give them a little bit of a head start, which will be very useful when the accession actually is completed, when it's finished, and the countries have access to a single market. And I would suppose that for the digital businesses, this should be sort of a natural choice because, after all, the digital technologies help us connect the world. So I think that's a very good area where they should work a little bit ahead of the curve, so to speak. So from the European Commission, again, we will continue working closely with the accession countries on this. We will support them in the process, trying to link them with the EU, because I think that for us in the digital world, this is an area which has tremendous potential, and we can actually have very concrete, very practical steps to link the different communities, the different businesses in the EU, in the accession countries together, and then through them help also the citizens and other businesses in other areas. So from me, this is just a quick overview of what the EU is working on in this area, what are our priorities. And with that, I will just wish you a very successful meeting. Again, very important topic and highly appreciated that this workshop, this meeting is being organized. So once again, thank you very much for inviting me, and I wish you a successful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for your time, for your introduction. It's very important to know that we are part of one day, maybe a single important digital connection market in Europe. And so let's see if it's changed the slide. Okay, so now it's time to have people on the stage, and I'm really happy to have here the Deputy Minister of Infrastructure and Energy of Albania, Enkeleida Muçai. I hope to have said in a good way. So thank you very much. So we have an update and the opening remarks from a person that really knows this country and what this country needs for digital interconnection. Thank you.
Thank you very much to you all for having the Minister of Infrastructure and Energy in my person today in this very important activity for NAMEX. We, as a country, and our ministry has been in years, let's say, a prominent presence in what exactly the digital transformation for this country is about, and what this ministry is going to bring forward and try to discuss with you today, ideas coming from several areas, but especially from the private sector, is exactly what the esteemed gentleman just mentioned, Mr. Chiapesh from the DG Connect, from the European Commission, which is the very advanced phase in which Albania is at the moment in the process of, let's say, membership and trying to have this accelerated integration process with the European Union, with a very sole and precise attempt, being part and trying to achieve whatever under the standard, whatever complexity that might bring to the country, but especially regulatory framework and policy dialogue that we can offer to all our, let's say, ecosystem in the digital framework in order to achieve integration with what? The European single digital market. As a matter of fact, in last year, we were discussing with you, with the members of the association and all the interested parties about the fact that this is a process which brings a lot of challenges. But what is a main and very important element is the inclusivity and involvement for real in terms of what the business models are, the transformation of our businesses, and especially in the digital area scheme and digital, let's say, framework, with what exactly are all those digital plans in the European level, but especially even the and the recent developments that are happening in the geopolitics around European Union, the fact that issues like digital sovereignty, and here the ISPs, I mean, very important members of these associations, are going to discuss issues of security today. And therefore, us as a government, but especially as a promoter, let's call it like that, we are just a part of what exactly should be happening in the market, how all the associations, universities and academia and all the other players should be doing all together in order to achieve common targets of which are set by the European Union, which is the house in which Albania as a country is highly committed to be an active, qualitative and efficient player. Why, dears? We are just going to mention, perhaps here, not only the fact that we have opened the negotiations and we have had this opportunity now to be in the negotiation process for closing the Chapter 10, very important one, speaking about digital integration. And here, infrastructures are the first issue to be discussed, not because it is a mere issue of infrastructure, but it is the greatest enabler of reaching very highly content-related, substance-related objectives, which is connectivity, but with a high level of integrity. And when we speak about integrity, we're speaking about integrity of networks, and here, security. And cybersecurity is at stake, and we all together are going to continue a discussion which is at the European level, but Albania is highly committed to achieve the best of the standard. As a matter of fact, we have already achieved a very high level of, let's say, legislative alignment with that of the European Union, and we intend to continue the highest standard to be adopted in the highest and efficient way possible under that level. We would like to tackle in terms of integrity in content and rights ideas, because we are very also committed in order to preserve these rights for our societies too. And here, I would like to bring another issue which has been tackled by the gentleman, which is roaming like at home. He didn't mention Albania, but we would like to put it in the table as we are here. Albania is already there. Not only is a very active player in terms of the roaming like at home in Balkan area, has been committed there in order to achieve the best of the standards, in order to have that roaming, you know, like at home for all the member countries of the Western Balkan. But especially now for roaming like at home with the European Union, we are in a very, very advanced phase as a country with our authority, very esteemed authority of electronic communications in this country. We have already drafted and sent to the European Commission the entire package, legal package, in order to make the roaming like at home a fact, a reality in Albania. So Albania has already advanced, and we are waiting now from the European Commission in order for them to bring home what? The agreement that they have to enter with Albania in order to have that reality as part of our integration in the, let's say, single digital European market. So as a matter of fact, we bring that news to you as a reality which will be in Albania, hopefully in the beginning of let's say in the end of this year and the beginning of the year 2027, obviously, and here we are coming again to you, with the cooperation of the operators. Nothing can be done with the utmost cooperation of the operators who are working in the relevant markets. Therefore, like that, we also would like to bring to you what we are doing in the integration process under that very important chapter Mr. Kapesh just mentioned, Chapter 10, Digital Transformation in Media Ideas. Minister of Infrastructure and Energy is leading that Chapter 2. We are pretty much advanced, and we hope to have that chapter closed, obviously, with cooperation and involvement of all of you. It can be done as an exercise that an institution like the ministry and all the other institutions around it, and here we are speaking about Parliament of Albania, Audiovisual Media Authority, we are speaking about Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Finance. I mean, around this clock, there are a lot of parties which you see them in paper as institutions, but the most important part is where are the people and markets and industries which are going to be affected. And therefore, we would like to use this opportunity to say today, apart from any technical issues that all the ISPs are facing in the face of digital connectivity, that goes in full alignment with what the government is doing. Therefore, kindly dears, consider us like the party to be addressing to your issues, all the time, such as ACEP, our authority for electronic communications. Kindly consider that any issues which is arisen in the meanwhile, or plans for investments that you are doing or thinking to do in the country in order to see what incentives European Union, but also Albania has in place in order to offer for the development of the digital digital infrastructures, if I may say so. Because yes, the gigabit society, it is the target which has been set by the European Union, and we intend to complete whatever it takes in order to have that a reality any day that is passing by. The digital wallets and the trusted services legislation too is very much advanced, yes. It is there, therefore kindly take whatever measures that you think that might be informative for you or for us to deliver to you whatever it is happening under the legal framework in this country, and be participating in whatever events and kindly indicate whatever modality we may have and may exploit in order to share with you, because that should be part of a, let's say, a process which is continuing. On the other side, the Gigabit Infrastructure Act is under alignment, the process of alignment, nowadays that we speak, and very soon we will deliver it to all of you in order to see exactly what are the ideas stemming from you in order to make a reality the right of use, but especially common use of the infrastructures in this country in order to reduce costs and especially bring that value which is related to the quality, resilience of the let's say, digital networks. As such also, the resilience let's say, another very important act, which is the Digital, let's say, and Cybersecurity Resilience Act. It's another very important enactment, which is going to be part of the package that we're working at, along with all the implementing acts under the Electronic Communication Code. Albania is also looking very closely on the DNA, which is the newest act which is approaching and part of the discussion in the EU. We would like to share with you, but especially take from whatever points of view that you may have in order to bring that also, that, possibility as a way to have, let's say, a robust legal framework in this country, which is helping really the digital infrastructure and services, let's say, development in the country too, as we speak about the media law and all the challenges which are coming with alignment of the, let's say, EMFA and the Media Services Act. Yes, I'd like to conclude, perhaps it took a little bit more, but for this ministry is always an opportunity to share thoughts and use perhaps these opportunities that you are given to this ministry as an opportunity to share the fact that we're working closely with all the European partners in the institutional, but also we would like to see private level, because the real integration between us, but especially trying to reach the digital sovereignty we are talking more and more around, let's say, our continent, is something to be served about, for which Albania would like to contribute its share of thought, its share of experience, along with you, but especially in the framework such as NAMIX, which is really a representation of what the business, academia, and especially the freedom, in the markets, especially under the private perspective, could bring to the table in order to reach the, let's say, very wished for results. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Our doors are open, dear. So just consider this ministry, which is some meters away, as a place and address on which you can knock any moment, and especially our authorities such as ACEP, AMA, etc., with which you may have interrelated, let's say, business, or let's say functional operational business. Try to see them as authorities which are even much open to whatever it is coming, and for which your cooperation, quality, resilience, and especially preserving all those standards which are vital to our societies. We just consider it not as a matter of business, it's just a matter of survivorship of our society in this very challenging upcoming world, which is served by these infrastructures, as a very important reality in which all the minds, all the realities and all the people from different levels should be coming together in order to bring a product which does not kill anyone, does not kill the process, but preserves a future which is really enlightening and something which brings that sort of, value with a less and least cost possible for the humanity and for the people. Thank you very much, really, for your attention. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you also for some of your words that are very open to this community. As you know, internet exchange points are not just like an infrastructure, are a place of community where network operators, institutions, and everyone find a place to discuss. And discussion to have a single European digital market is most important, to have this open discussion with the people that know the network. So thank you, Deputy Minister, for your speech. And you said cooperation. One important cooperation that we have is the one between our countries, so between Albania and Italy. So it's a pleasure to have on the stage the Italian Trade Agency in Tirana for Ms. Alkeida Bacalli. So thank you for being here.
Përshëndetje të gjithëve. Është kënaqësi që t'jem këtu mes jush. Falenderoj organizuesit për ftesën. Më lejoni t'ju prezantoj shkurtimisht kush jemi ne. Ne jemi Italian Trade Agency, jemi një institucion publik italian, i cili kooperon fort me Ministrinë e Jashtme dhe të Kooperimit Ndërkombëtar Italiane dhe sigurisht edhe me ambasadat italiane kudo në botë. Ne jemi rreth në 70 vende të botës dhe detyra jonë është të lehtësojmë biznesin italian i cili orientohet drejt tregjeve ku ne operojmë. Dhe në rastin konkret, zyra jonë çfarë bën? Lehtëson pikërisht këtë hyrje të kompanive italiane në tregun shqiptar dhe lehtëson dialogun midis aktorëve lokal dhe atyre italian. Është shumë e rëndësishme. Është shumë e rëndësishme tematika që do trajtohet sot, është shumë e rëndësishme të thohet që Italia përveç klisheve, do të thënë asaj që ne dim tashmë që është e bukur, është turistike, është agroturizmi, është agroshqimori, Italia është inovacioni. Italia sjell risi, sjell përpunim, sjell vlerë të shtuar. Dhe në këtë kuadër duhet pasur parasysh që bizneset mund të gjejnë lehtësisht bashkëpunim me Italinë. Unë do ta pres shkurt, jemi vonë, unë uroj sukses të kësaj konference. Uroj që të mund të lindin bashkëpunime, ide të reja, risi, të vinë sa më shumë, janë të mirë pritura kompanit shqiptare që kanë nevojë të lidhen me kompani italiane. Ne kemi derën të hapur, jemi në qendër të Tiranës, kështu që mirë se të vini dhe punime të suksesshme konferencës edhe të frytshme. Gjithë mirë.
Thank you, Al-Qaeda. Okay, we are missing one, but it's okay, it's fine. It's time to go inside the content of today's presentations. So, I mean, the hosts of today are NAMEX and Rush, and the possibility to have a neutral internet exchange point in Albania is just because of this long cooperation. Let's say it's more or less 7 years, since 2019. So 7 years later, ANIX is very healthy, and we are very happy about that, but no one better than Maurizio Goretti from NAMEX and Hanian Shelai from Rush can say what's going on here in Tirana. So we'd like to start with Maurizio, NAMEX CEO.
Thank you very much. And it's been 10 years almost that NAMEX collaborate with Rush, and maybe we collaborate before that Rush exists, because we met Ariana more than 10 years ago when we come in Albania for a project that was supposed to connect all the Albanian university, and that I have to say that Rush realize in the best way as possible. So I prepared some slides, maybe too much, I don't know. But I want to tell you something about NAMEX, because I think that this year, last year was a special year for NAMEX, because NAMEX was born in 1995. So we celebrate our 30th 30th anniversary. But I want to say before that now NAMEX is made by 200 internet service providers that owns the internet exchange point. I'll show you some numbers now. What we proudly say that NAMEX is not for profit. That means that we have profit, but we reinvest the profit inside the consortium. For example, here in this project, together with our friends with Rush, to develop the local exchange point, and we are neutral. That means that if you are a big or small internet service provider, we have to treat you in the same way. So as I told you, we were born in 1995. The main milestone in this history is that we became a legal entity in 2001. We create together with Rush ANIX in 2018, and then we opened another couple of cities in Italy that are Bari and Naples. This is a special photo for us because we celebrate at the university in the Rome City Council, this wonderful room in the top of Rome. And these are what we call the guys, the pioneer, the guys that at that time in 1995 started the internet exchange point. One of them is here, is our president, Renato Brunetti, that later will be on stage for the panel. Today we are in 4 cities. We are also here in Albania, but in Italy we are in 3 cities. In Rome we are present in 5 data centers, because in the time, and we own the data center in the city center in Rome, but also but then later we extend our presence in our data center in city when they was created. And our number of ISs grow year by year linearly, Now we are roughly, we are close to the 300. We hope this year we can reach this target. And our traffic grows exponentially. It grows very fast. Now last year we hit our 1 terabit traffic. In Italy, I don't know here in Albania, I think it's similar, but in Italy, especially in the last year, most of the traffic is due not only from the content, the usual name of the content providers, but from the live streaming sports event as a soccer, for example. Even our revenues is growing. That gives us more possibility to invest and expand in other projects. NAMIX is not only infrastructure, it's mainly community, and we discuss together with the community to the new trends and topics. For example, these are the last 2 workshops that we organized to a couple of topics that in Italy at least are very hot, like the live sports streaming event. We have this very interesting workshop with the dozen. And then we discussed together with this new phenomenon that it's the internet beyond Earth, low orbit satellite, data centers, moon base, and something like that. And then community means also our big event that we organize each year. You are all invited physically or streaming or following by streaming from here to our main event that will be held in May in Rome this year. It's a big event because it gathered together almost 700 people that are the ones that make internet in Italy. So you can find Italian actors, but also people from abroad. Training, we do a lot of training. We use part of our money to have a lot of training class for our members that are free. We provide it by free. And one example is the class that we are going to have this afternoon here. It will be about BGP security. It will be head by Antonio Prado. That is also, I don't know if Antonio is here or not. Yes, it's over there. Okay. Prado is also the author of this book that became very popular. That is BGP from theory to practice, that he wrote together with our CTO, Flavio Luciani, and another important guys that's called Tiziano Toffoni. We have some copy of the book, I think, that it will be a sort of game that if you want, you can win a copy of this book. It's very heavy, but I think it's full of knowledge inside, right? So why the collaboration between Albania? As also in the introduction, all the people say that there is our 2 countries are very close and collaborates. There is a lot of history between our 2 countries. And then some years ago, we start to look to Albania because we started this project that became then after a rush. And we start to look for the traffic inside Albania. And there is a research made by using ADAS probe from Daniele Arena that show in 2017 that unfortunately most of the traffic between Albanian provider do not remain inside the country, but to connect one Albanian provider to another one, you have to have this long trip around Europe and then come back. So we tried, and we figured out that there were no neutral internet exchange points in the country. So what we can do? So we decided to have this pro bono project, and then we start to see how we can build or start the neutral exchange point. And luckily, we found Ariane and Rush. That was the perfect place to start an exchange point because it's neutral. It's not owned by a local provider. And then, but to build an internet exchange point, you need first to build the community. So we start to meet with you, the Albanian internet service provider, to know the market of the internet service provider. And then we organized the first meeting of the Albanian providers in 2017. We bring here in Tirana some actors from the content providers from abroad. We met Facebook. We bring here Facebook and other names to try to start the exchange points. And then finally, on March 2018, the exchange point started inside the Rush data centers. And from then, we try to improve the exchange point. We try to bring the contents inside Albania. And in 2020, we were able to bring to have a matter inside the data center. Another thing that we try to do to be to provide a useful service to the local provider was to have international carrier inside the internet exchange point. And Hurricane Electric came in 2022. That means to have the opportunity to buy internet transit from an international player. And also, EXA came in 2023. And then we had several meetings each year in 2022, discussing Albania as a gateway to the Balkans. And then in 2024. And then today, what is ANIX? ANIX is a mature, successful internet exchange point, gathered together more than 30 ISs. I figure out that we hit the records of ANIX last night. Now we have this 45 gigabits traffic records, and the traffic seems to grow very fast. Albania for us means also to have the opportunity to know some other friends from other countries, as for example Kosovo. We were proud to collaborate together with ISOC and the Kosovo regulators, and helping them to get some fund from ISOC and improve their exchange point. We provide training and other kind of collaboration. We are pretty proud of this. And we also signed an MOU with North Macedonia internet exchange point. What's next? It's time for ANIX to move from the pro bono project because ANIX reached a stage of maturity. So we start doing things, and we hope to develop more in the future. One of the things that 1 year ago we signed a one-stop shop agreement with Rush. So ANIX now is able to sell the ANIX services from Italy also. And because we signed another very important agreement with an Italian internet exchange point that is Tobix, now we started a project that we call Argo, that want to be an alliance between internet exchange points. So our next project will be to develop this Argo collaboration between the Mediterranean basin and with other countries that we are already in touch, and we hope that the next year I'll be able to announce new collaboration and new opportunity for everybody. ANIX, I remember, means the Mediterranean exchange point. Thank you very much to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maurizio. So it's time to see what Arjan Gelai will tell us about ANIX, about Rush, and about his point of view. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you, everybody, which come here today to be together with us in this event, which now have the fourth time, organizing this, and it's a good sign to see that both Albanian ESPs and also international carrier are in the same table, in the same saal, and discuss with each other, collaborate with each other. As before told by all the speakers, the DG Connect, the Vice Minister for Telecommunication, is important, this collaboration from Albania to Europe, to EU countries and to neighborhood countries, because we are on the same boat, going in the direction of Brussels. And here start also our history. I will go short because it's a repeated history, but to tell the reality, I was a lucky man. So I have find the right persons. One of them is Mauricio, which I thanks him for the collaboration over more than 1 decade. And also overall Europe. The person is not here, maybe Eric Huizer from Jant, which have supported Rush all the time and open all the door, being part of largest community association, which bring together over 50 million people, universities, researcher, academia. And from this serve also this infrastructure. The infrastructure is to serve the people. Academia or not, we need to serve there and we need to be open. Neutral, as Mauricio told, but open. And so start also the history. Rush started as a project, supported strongly from the Italian government through the funding in the first years, and also in the bridging time when the project finished, and we go forward, not as usual as in some project, after finished project, finished also the idea, but go forward and growing. We start as a small team. Maurice and Daniel remember, we were also 3-4 person. What was good that we come from abroad. So we come with another mentality. The mentality was to collaborate, not to see a friend, to see a partner to everybody. And so start our work. Here are few words, what we do over the year. We build different things, but most infrastructure and services. And we start to be part of all European organization to create one of the best networks ever exist in Albania, in the most biggest organizations. Next slide, please. Which are here, starting from Terena, now is the Jant, the biggest network, the most relevant infrastructure for European Commission, which interconnect all universities, research centers, but also now the HPCs. This is important. The Jant will be the organization which will connect through the hyper connectivity all the aero HPC centers overall in Europe. So the next level of interconnection. We are part of RIPE, one of the first organizations which, together with Terena, we start the membership. And after this, the UNIS, EOSC, which also is important because it's the European Open Science Cloud, is one of the strongest organizations, biggest organization, which through Jean and other members have created a solid cloud services of all Europe and are accessible for all. Also the Chronic and Declaration Network, which deal with digital wallets and different metadata of students and researchers. We have built, next slide, different platform in-house. So it was important to bring a new mentality in Albania, the mentality in-house. What means this? That means that we take students from schools, from universities, and bring this in the professional life. This is the most difficult way, but is the right way, I think. Is the right way to give a perspective to young people to stay in their country and to develop professionally. And you have to do this very good. What we see here and more are all platforms developed in-house. We serve now, I think, over 200,000 users in universities, students which come from Matura and wanted to study, teachers which are in training process, researcher which we deal with the metadata of research, and we have created one of the largest network in Albania, bringing together different communities, teachers, students, researchers, ESPs. So, and this is the biggest thing, because we don't leave the educational research separated, but we connect with the industry. The most important thing is this, that we bridge different communities and create an ecosystem. One of the best ecosystems, which is the ICT, education and research and innovation in the same place. Next. Here we have also building in houses, also Mauricio told the e-infrastructure. We have our own network, we have our own data center, all funded through EU projects and different projects, or also through this pro bono project. All these charges we make to ESPs will be reinvested for having a new infrastructure, having more services for the community. Next, please. And this is the map. We have a 10 gigabit network in Tirana, which connect all the academia and different research innovation institutions, also the ESPs. And we have also two connections, each 100 gigabits to the Jean network, one to Milan and the other to Sofia. Next, please. So we arrive, this is the map. This is the map of Jean, only in Europe, which interconnect all the capitals, all the cities, over 50 million users, 10,000 institutions, and here Albania is part of them. So we have arrived to put Albania in this map. 2023, we upgrade our data center, our network, and we have now this connection to Milano and Sofia, and we give the possibility to interconnect with all Europe through this network. Next. Few words for ANIX. Mauricio told most of the most important things because also as collaboration, the ANIX exists through a strong collaboration. The NAMEX make the management and the technical part, and we have the host and the technical part on local, and they have all the support from Rome. We have now 10 gigabit IP transit, and we have a startup to have the interest. At the moment are only two content provider, but we are growing, and the interest, next slide, the interest of the ESPs and content provider is growing to be part of this network, to be part of this community. We have also the interest. At the moment, we have installed Cloudflare in Raj. Is the only unique installation in Albania. We arrived to convince them that is the best place to be in Albania. And we are also have the interest of Google. We have at last contact with them, and maybe in a few months will be also collocated in our data center, and Akamai. So we have mostly all biggest content provider, but also the different, and we are open. Through our contact and our network, we have also invited Albanian content provider as, for example, Klani, which also will be hosted in ANIX. But this will facilitate also the network and also the communication between the service provider and the content provider. Actually, we estimate that about 70% of Albanian internet traffic is locally routed through our internet exchange members. Next slide, please. And here we have what we have actually. So we have upgraded our data center. As you see the photo, this is original photo, not internet photo. We have invest everything in our data center. The capacity is doubled now. We have 22 racks. We'll invest also through the project with ISOC, which I wanted to thank them for the investment. And we upgrade also our OPS. System energy system, and we have at the moment 5 dedicated racks for ANIX and also racks for the content provider and global carrier, which are in Albania. We have through our 200 gigs connection to Sofia and to Tirana, upgrade a connection, and we are connected now with 30 gigabit with Cogent via Mix, but through our partner, Jant. We are not part of Mix. We have a good partner, find a good partner by Namex, and we will stay by Namex also in next years collaborating with them, but we are open for different collaboration. Retin is here, and I heard that they have the interest to come to us, and they are welcomed. Next slide, please. What will be a future of? We are thinking to reinvest, to continue to invest in our data center. We wanted to open the work during this year, and I think in end 27 will be also the second server room. We wanted to interconnect with other EXPs also, as was presented. We have here, and thank for the coming the chairman of RCAP. We wanted to interconnect with COSIX, but also with other internet exchange in Macedonian. We have people also of Macedonian here, because what is good is that also in other countries, in Macedonia, also in Montenegro, the EXPs are managed for the NRANs as RAS, for the local NRANs. And the same is also in Greece by GRX. So all the exchanges are located by the NRANs in all Southeast Europe. And this is important because give them the autonomy from all partners. They are distanced from everybody and offer only the services based on the professionality. We are seeing the possibility to have also another connection through another tier 1 global network via Mix or via Sofia, which will be discussed during this year. And also continue with the upgrade of the data center. But we think that maybe it will be time that we sit in the same table also with ESPs and also discuss how to make sustainable this data center, which need investment and things that only through rush will be impossible long-term to grow. So we need to have all on board, and maybe during this year will be the time also to rediscuss the charging schema and everything which have to do with the future of the rush. Next slide. I thank you for the participation. And you are open. I will be with Mauricio here all the day, and everybody who wanted to contact us, and if we have questions, you can do this during the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arjen. Thank you for this update and for the trust that you put on Namex and all the community. So before going on, I want to show you one person that has already been mentioned by Maurizio, but I asked him to come just for 5 seconds on the stage. And this guy is Mr. Antonio Prado. I just a very quick introduction of what happens today afternoon, Antonio.
Thank you. First of all, I'm very glad to be here. Every time in Tirana, I feel younger. Maybe the air or the city, or maybe a good barber shop. Anyway, a message for you, tech guys, network guys, BGP guys. If you want to discuss with me about 2 or 3 things about internet routing security, RPKI, ASPA, and maybe some hands-on with the lab, let's meet at 2:30 for spending 3 hours together. Bye.
Thank you, Antonio. Thank you very much. So, to talk about real cross-border digital cooperation, you need people who work on the foundations of internet every day. And RIPE NCC coordinates essential internet resources across Europe, the Middle East, and Central Asia, acting as a neutral technical actor beyond regional borders. But RIPE NCC is also a key internet observatory, producing data and studies that help us understand how internet actually works. So we're glad today to welcome here Jelena Kozic and Jadel Cham from RIPE NCC. They will introduce us about connectivity in the Southeastern Europe, which is funny because sometimes we say Western Balkans, sometimes we say Southeastern Europe. It depends. Everything is so relative. So welcome, Jelena. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. It's great to be back in Tirana and great to be back at the meeting. I agree. We also had this internal quick discussion on which term we use. Is it Southeast Europe? Do we stick to that? Is it Western Balkan? Is it Balkan? But anyway, we chose the most neutral one, which seems to be Southeast Europe. So today I have a pleasure to share the insights that and the results that Jad and I found while working together on analysis and report about the evolution and the current state of the peering landscape in the region, with a specific focus on the role that IXPs play when it comes to connectivity within their own countries and the whole region. So let me see. We have prepared many slides, so I'm going to attempt to go very quickly through them. And that's why I just want to put like a small disclaimer at the very beginning. Some slides are going to be very text heavy, but since I'm going to rush through some of them for the sake of time, I advise you to not even attempt to read the slides, just listen to me. And if you want to go back and read the slides more carefully, you will have the opportunity to do so. And at the same time, the report itself is already available. So all of everything that I'm going to say and that Jad is going to say later, and plus additional details are going to be in the report itself. So let's start. This is very quickly brief introduction slides just to say what was the purpose. Again, I started by saying that we were looking into the role that IXPs play within the peering landscape, how important they are, how relevant they are. And one of the things that we started from is that we were curious to see what are some of the key characteristics that distinguish IXPs in Southeast Europe from the rest of the world. So that's one of our starting points. And the second one was to see if there are any somewhat unique challenges that IXPs here might be facing. And at the same time, not only challenges, but perhaps there are some opportunities that they can take advantage of. Okay, so I wasn't pressing the slides. Anyway, so I wanted to give some context, which is very briefly, because most of the people here are from the region, so I'm not going to go into detail. But again, another disclaimer, so that when we were starting to analyze the region, we had to acknowledge just a few things, just a few facts. And this is that sometimes it's not easy, or it's not even possible to compare all of these countries. It's a big group, and there are big differences between them. So it's a simple fact the region is not homogeneous, and there are few ways that we can divide the region into sub-regions, across different dimensions, and then this is what I listed a few of these possibilities on the slide. But again, the main purpose of this point here that I'm trying to make is that, well, I'm going to, in the report as well, I'm going to make some generalizations for the whole region. Sometimes it is good to look each country case by case, because they might have some unique characteristics, and it's not always possible to compare, and it's not advisable to compare. I'm going. Okay. So for the start, I just want to share a very quick and nice visualization where you can see the current state of the all active, the largest active IXPs in the region. So just to give you a sense how the map on the landscape looks like at the moment. So as you can see, there are some takeaways that you can see here. One of them is that, well, all of the countries have at least one IXP, and that's a good thing. Second, that so countries, there is difference between countries when it comes to population and territory size, obviously, and that's why the smaller markets as well, tend to have only one IXP that serves its purpose for the whole country. But then when we look at Romania, Bulgaria, and Greece, again, larger markets, and this is where we see multiple active IXPs, and this is a signal that the peering market and landscape in these countries is a bit more active as well. It's not a surprise. And then I wanted to quickly go through some of the general observations that we made about the region. So I'm talking specifically about Albania here, or specifically about any other countries. It's just general observations. And the first of them is something that we noticed very quickly when we conducted a series of interviews for the purposes of writing this report. We try to talk to everyone that we can. So that include all of the IXP operators, and additionally, we wanted to talk to other market players just to give us a better sense of what is actually happening on the ground. So one of the things that we noticed, as I said, is the fact that when all of these IXPs have been established, so that in initial phases, when they choose the governance of their project, it actually does affect, so that decision is going to affect the potential for growth and the operation of this IXP long term. So how you set it up, it really does matter, so you have to be careful. So that's a general message here. And I wanted to just confirm what Arjen already mentioned before, just before me. He said that a lot of the IXPs in the region are run by NRENs. So that's one of the characteristics that we noticed, specific to SCE, is that, yes, majority of them are small projects run by a few people, and they are operated by national research and education networks. So that's a dominant model. That's what I wanted to say. The second thing that I wanted to mention, second observation, is that, again, we noticed that the potential for growth of IXP, again, is affected by something that we call market dynamics. Or generally speaking, IXP is very dependent on the conditions of the market that it operates in. So if we see some of the market behaviors that I listed here, for example, that we pointed out, the role of the incumbent, how dominant role it plays in the market, or the trend of market consolidation, centralization. This is something that is outside of the control of the IXP, but IXP would be heavily affected by it. So there are certain things, again, that we notice. There are certain patterns that we can predict based on the market behavior as well. And the last observation, this is like the last factor that is affecting the potential success of IXP, is when it comes to Southeast Europe, the simple geographical location of our region, the fact that we are so close to Central and Western Europe, which is a blessing and a curse at the same time. So on the one hand, yes, it's very easy and affordable to get the connectivity to major interconnection hubs in Europe, like Frankfurt and Amsterdam, and even London, and so that far away, and Vienna and Budapest. But at the same time, as I said, it's a curse because, well, if you keep investing outside of your country, then you might be, neglecting to invest and to look inside in your own local digital economy and the economy of an entire country. So these are some of the, I don't want to say warnings, but yeah, observations that we can easily make. So one of the challenges that we made when we started working on the report is the goal was to try to define what makes an IXP successful. And this type of criteria didn't exist, so we had to come up with our own. And we came up with this benchmark that introduces 4 criteria. Very briefly, I'm going to introduce all of them. The first one is what is the key role of the IXP? Typically, most people would say it's to keep local traffic local. So that's where we started. The second one is we looked into whether this IXP is contributing to making its country a regional hub for the internet exchange. So that's the second criteria. The third one would be, does this IXP play a role when it comes to attracting the global players to its country? And the fourth one would be, does it support the digitalization of its own country? And I just want to say that our view is not that every IXP needs to fulfill all of the 4 criteria to be labeled successful. No, different IXPs can serve different roles, but we still find that having this type of benchmark can be useful for the IXP operators, but also for the policy people, for the regulators as well. So different stakeholders to evaluate the state and the success of an IXP. So now we're going to look into each one of these criteria, so all of the 4 benchmarks, more carefully. And I'm going to introduce the first 2, and then I'm going to hand over to my colleague. So the first one, is it keeping local traffic local? That's an easy question. So to be able to answer this, what we did, we used already mentioned RIPE Atlas platform for internet measurements. And what we did is we wanted to see whether the traffic, local traffic, leaves the borders. And for the purpose of that, we made a series of internet measurements, trace routes, from using our RIPE Atlas probes that are hosted in here in the region. And we're going to see some of the results of these trace routes measurements. So it's a pretty map, and you can see that some lines stay inside the border, some lines go outside. But if you're curious about the specific number, exact numbers, then you can see in the table what are the results. And you can see that on the top of the list, it's Albania, that says that majority of the traffic does stay local. So that's a good thing. Majority does stay local. Or at least, I'm not saying, I put another disclaimer. Every time that we talk about the internet measurements that we do with using our RIPE Atlas platform, we're not talking about traffic. We're talking about the traffic paths that we're able to observe by producing these measurements, just to make it very clear. So in the traffic paths that we observed, majority of them did stay local, but then 26% did leave country. So that would mean that one local ISP in Albania would be we would send a ping or a trace route we connect it to the other local ISP, but then the traffic will go outside of the country and come back. So not optimal. And then you can see the percentages for the other countries in the region. And then we were also curious to kind of zoom in on this, and we were curious for those traffic paths that did stay inside the country. When we look at the traffic at the trace route hops, we were curious to see whether we see IXP LAN within those hops. So does the IXP play an important role when it comes to local connectivity? That's the question. So we have here two examples of two countries. First is Croatia, second one is Slovenia. And whenever you see this green block, that means that IXP LAN has been detected in one of in the path. And these photos look pretty decent, pretty good. As you can see, there's a lot of green. So IXP is utilized. Another example is two larger countries where you can see Greece and Romania. You see different colors. So that means that different IXPs were detected in our paths. And now I'm going to show you Albania. Are you ready? This is Albania. It looks a bit different. But before I proceed, I have to admit something, which is that this is slightly old because our measurement tool hasn't been operational for a year now. And the latest data that we have in the report and that I'm now presenting is from the last year. Perhaps, I have to say, perhaps things have radically changed in 1 year, perhaps not, but at the moment, I don't have the insight into this. And the second disclaimer is that our tool is, for technical difficulties, does include one ASN here in the table that is actually registered in Kosovo. So that also skews the view a little bit, but not too much. I think that signal is still strong enough to understand that this image can be improved because you were able to compare it to other countries. And then, if we want to look even further, I wanted to give you one example of a trace route, but this is and this is very fresh. I did this 2 days ago. What has happened is that I didn't look at the trace routes that stayed in the country. I looked at the ones that left. So this is a different type of measurement where I put the ANIX, I put the RIPE Atlas anchor that is located at the ANIX exchange as our target. But the origin was a probe, again, located within the country. And as you can see, the latency is pretty high. And then the traffic path does take the very, very scenic route. It goes through goes through Frankfurt, but then to Zurich, but then to Milan, Bari, and then Tirana. So I'm picking and choosing here the worst example. I'm not saying that this is the average or the typical image that you're going to see. This is just an extreme case. But again, I would advise to look into this. So I'm pretty sure that things could be further improved. And finally, Okay, so the second criteria that I mentioned, whether the IXP plays a role in making the country becoming the regional hub for internet connectivity. Again, we started by producing a series of our own measurements to look into this. And very similar to the previous example, we again ran a series of measurements, but this is the slight difference here is that we treated the whole region as one country. The idea was to see how countries between themselves are interconnected. And some of the numbers that we can share is that, good thing, majority of the paths, almost 80%, do stay within the region, and then about 20% leave. And it's a funny image, as you can see, because there are a small number of paths that got really far away, all the way to the US. Very strange behavior that we detected. But then, if we zoom in, then we can see slightly more visible, more clear that if the traffic paths do leave the region, where do they go? So that was the question, where do they go? And you can see something that was fairly predictable. I think that for everyone in the room, that the traffic would go to the major internet interconnection hubs in Europe. We see pretty clearly Vienna, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, London, Milan, all of them are popping up pretty strongly. And then we see that for the traffic paths that stayed within the region, we again looked what is the role that the regional IXPs have been playing here. And we can say that about 38% of those paths, again, we detected IXP within those paths. And in the table, you're going to see the most common IXPs that we detected, and then leader it happens to be a NetIX in Sofia, and then Interlan in Romania, and then SOX in Serbia. Again, larger exchanges, so predictable results, I would say. And lastly, so this is my last slide. I hope I'm on time. Forgive me if I'm not. But we also wanted, we were curious again to see, further analyze the regional connectivity. And what we did, we started looking at the how let's say top 5, that was our list, top ISPs within the region, how they interconnect, how they peer locally or regionally. And what we did, we looked at the IXPs because that was the focus of our report. We definitely understand that the peering could be happening outside of IXPs, which is not visible to us. You're not visible in this table. But for the purpose of the IXPs of the report, we see that the results show that the peering is not happening at the IXPs, that the major ISPs are not interconnecting there. That's not the place of interconnection. Because what we see that only in Bulgaria, where is it? Let me see. Only in Bulgaria, you can see that the total number of foreign ISPs that are present in the country is 6. 6 networks representing 4 countries, and the rest of the region, at the rest of the IXPs, the numbers are much closer to 0. So the question is, we are not seeing ISPs connecting and interconnecting with each other there. The question is, why would they be there? What would be the reason for an Albanian ISP to be connected in Sofia, to be connected in Zagreb, for example? One potential reason could be to get content. So this is where I hand over to Jad, because he's going to continue with the third criteria, which is the content side.
So good morning, everyone. I think Yelena left me with less than 5 minutes. Oh, she'll be back. She'll be back, don't worry. All right, so the third criteria for success was we were wondering, are the IXPs playing any role in trying to attract these hyperscalers, you know, the cloud providers, the OTT players, and so on. So we started by, we had to leverage some sort of source of data, and this is where we went to BearingDB, we went to the pages of the memberships of the IXPs to try to see where are these big players coming from. So we do have a couple of slides that we will not show at the very end where we show very detailed analysis where each you know, cloud or hyperscaler is present there. But what we decided to do here is to try to consolidate them all together on a country level. So we do see that there are some content players or content providers that are more available than others across the region. However, the striking thing, and this maybe not that striking, is that not all the networks are present in all the countries. So I would like to just use this to build a segue back to what Yelena just mentioned about regional peering, whether there is a case for regional peering or not. And in the next couple of slides, we leveraged the tool that Daniele developed in order to try to find or geolocate, more or less, where the content is coming. So we took the case of Albania. So where are the Albanian networks getting their contents from? So if we do take a look at Netflix, and there is a caveat, Daniele mentioned that we're using here VibeStat. It comes with some sorts of caveats and limitations, so this is not 100% representation of truth, but this is a good indication on how things are. So when it comes to Netflix, we do see that there's quite a big portion of traffic, even though Netflix has some sort of a presence here in Albania, coming from abroad. And the parts that you don't see here, one of them is Stockholm, that's the one going up, and the one on the left, it's going fetching content from New York. Now, if we move to Cloudflare, and I'm happy to hear that Cloudflare is going to have a presence here in Albania, but we also do see that there is quite some traffic going outside of Albania, even though, again, there might be a point of presence already in the country, but elsewhere. The couple more slides for Google and Amazon are very, very similar, but there's a common theme everywhere is that we are relying heavily on content that is being sourced from outside of the country. And this is the same case as Fastly. Now, I will not talk more about this later on when we conclude with the call of actions. I'm going to revisit this a little bit more. But this is just to say that we can do a little bit better in terms of attracting content. Some of the countries in the region are doing quite well, and we're going to see that in a couple of slides next. And finally, the last criteria of success is that are the IXPs doing any job in digitizing the local economy, in the sense that are IXPs facilitating the exchange of traffic between the different multi-stakeholders, digital multi-stakeholder inside the country? Now, typically, when we talk about an IXP, we automatically think about two types of, stakeholders. We have the ISPs, of course, and then we have the contents. But that is not really the case. Maybe that was the case 10, 15 years ago, when, the networks on the internet were the providers and, the networks, the service providers. But this is not the case anymore. Now we have banks online, we have regulators, we have ministries, we have municipalities, we have universities, we have fintechs, we have service providers, we have national tax services, health providers, national health providers. All of these are connected to the internet. So what we wanted to do is that for every country, we looked at the total number of ASNs, autonomous system numbers, that are in this country. And then we looked at the membership per IX. So are they there or not? And more importantly, we looked at the numbers per IX when it comes to local, are these local networks or foreign networks? Now, in the majority of the IXPs in the region, due to the type, why they were created, the type of governance chosen, we see that the majority of the members are actually local members, which is good, except for a couple of places like Bulgaria, where we do see more foreign networks than local networks, and that's okay because of the concentration of foreign content that moved into these countries in order to be able to serve the region better. But for example, in the case of Albania, so when we ran the report, Albania had 94 registered ASNs, right? Out of these 94, only 19 at the time were at the IX. So I checked today in the morning. I think there are 7 ASNs for banks here. None of them are there. Also for governmental institutions, also for critical infrastructure, etc. So the next natural evolution for these IXPs is to be able to build a bigger community around them. And this is something that Maurizio mentioned in his talk. One of the goals that NAMEX had was to build a community around the IX. So the more we bring these different stakeholders to the IX, the better the local inter-exchange is, the better the experiences, and the more opportunities that we have. We can repatriate services like payment services or hosting services that typically are outside of the country. So I come from Lebanon, that's my home country, and one of the issues that we have there is that the local interconnection is not the best. So a lot of the services that we use, so if I were to start a company now to provide connectivity or to provide some sort of content, the best place to be is Marseille and not Beirut, IX, because of the type of interconnections and where the local networks are exchanging their traffic. So this is something important to keep track on. This could be related to policies. This also could be related to governance. We did see that some IXPs, when they were created, they were a little bit, as they say in French, le club des riches. So only for the big ISPs, not even for the small ISPs. So even less for, like the fintechs or the banks or whatever. So we're not saying that in Albania, all 94 networks ASNs should be there, but they could be there. And the question is, are we doing any sort of outreach, or are we making the IX attractive enough for them to come and, peer there? So, okay, now we know the recipe for potential success. And it's important to reiterate what Yelena mentioned before. We are not saying that every IX should fulfill all of these roles, all of these criteria. However, one IX can be more successful than another in that specific region. So is it okay, or is it natural to compare ANIX, for example, to M6 or DKIX? Of course not, for a number of different reasons. So what we should do next in order to try to, fill the gaps that we have identified in these reports. So we would like to leave you with 3 call of actions. The first one is on the internal level, on the IXP level. We have seen that a big portion of, let me say, the challenges, the issues that IXPs are facing in the region here is actually from within inside the house, the way they are set up. Oh, we're being run by a small research network. We don't have manpower to do that. There's one guy working for the university and then does the IX on a part-time job. Or governance perspective in the sense of, oh, we have a new member who would like to connect, but our policies do not allow for example, for this type of networks to join us. So we think that a self-review, of operational practices and policy practices is needed in order for all the IXPs to really achieve their full potential. But more importantly, build strong communities. Without a community, IXPs, and more specifically the small IXPs, are almost useless. All right? Second call for action is better regional peering. I will not go a lot in the details of this. We have shown a couple of examples why this is important. The cloud content, the hyperscalers are not in all the countries. We do see traffic going still around 20% of the traffic leaving the region. So there's more space to be done here. This is better for security purposes, better for financial purposes, so you're not paying for transit, better for resiliency, better for latency, you know all of this. And then finally, the last one, we're a bit selfish here, we need a little bit more data. It was very hard to produce this report because of a couple of things. We rely heavily on our sources of data, like RIPE Atlas. So even though we had quite a few Atlas probes and anchors, sometimes they are biased. So we have them more inside universities and IXPs, but not a lot into eyeball networks. We do have, but maybe we need more. We need better public information like peering DBs. So for example, even for ANIX, if we take a look at what is in peering DB, or what is, for example, on Hurricane Electric, or on the page of ANIX for the memberships, the numbers do not match precisely. Now that's all right, but please try to update peering DB as much as possible because it makes our lives easier and it would allow us to do, better comparisons. For some of the IXs, we almost had to ask access to the IXP managers, and we were going to the ports and trying to see, oh, this network is connected to this port, and so on. So please keep your records up to date, provide access to public memberships, so statistics, data, how it's being, the evolution across time. And with this, if you are interested in the full report, there's this really handy QR code that you can snap a picture of, and you will get all 30 pages of the report, something like that. We promise you it's a light reading, so if you don't have anything and you're bored during the weekend, now you can fill it out. So we are here to help as RIPE NCC. We are eager to help. Just ping us, pun intended. Thank you. I don't think there's time for questions, but if...
I'm sorry, but we are late. Anyway, in the coffee break, Jad and Elena are available for questions and everything, because I saw that you were very focused on their presentation. It has been very, very useful, and thank you again. So it's time to talk about regulators. We come from a country where our national regulator has also something to say very unique, and the European Union say something back. And it doesn't happen only in Italy, it happens all over Europe, actually. And I don't know in Albania. I knew that there was something about TikTok, but there is some new. Last night someone told me that maybe TikTok is still working. And anyway, we have a very good person today here to update us of the regulatory framework, which is a very complex and important thing to share. So welcome, Altin Petre from ACEP. Thank you.
Përshëndetje. Në radhë parë, do të them që në fakt prezantimin do ta mbaj në shqip, ndihem më konfident kur flasim për rregulloret. Të nderuar zonja zëvendës ministër, të nderuar pjesëmarrës, këtu përfaqësoj AKEP-in dhe dua të për një prezantim të shpejtë të gjitha të akteve rregullatore që AKEP-i ka nxjerrë në përputhje me ligjin e ri për komunikimin elektronik dhe gjithashtu dhe në përputhje me një sër direktiva SHTB-s në përputhje me një sër direktiva SHTB-s dhe të BEREK-ut. Ligji i ri i komunikimit elektronike ka sjell një fokus të ri në disa elemente që sot janë vazhdimisht pjesë e diskutimit, siç është siguria e rrjeteve apo konkurenca e lirë apo të dhënat personale, ulja e barierave në treg e të tjera. Dhe në këtë pikpamje, AKEP-i ka zhvilluar disa rregullore, të cilat sapo janë miratuar apo janë akoma në proces këshillimi. është rregulloria e cila aktualisht ka të bëjë me sigurinë e rrjetave dhe është një nga thekset e ligjit të ri, është në përfundim të këshillimit publik dhe ka një pikë kyçe që e kalon sigurinë kibernetike dhe vëmendjen tek të dhënat personale nga një rekomandim dhe një detyrim. Pra, kjo rregullore, së bashku kuptohet mbështetur në ligj, kërkon që ISP duhet të integrojnë të gjitha masat e sigurisë, si ato teknike dhe organizative, për të pasur një shërbim si pjesë e shërbimit që ofrojnë. Detyrimet kryesore që këto ISP-t rrjedhin nga kjo rregullore janë kryesisht zbatimi i detyrueshëm i këtyre masave organizative dhe teknike në përputhje me nivelin e riskut, po dhe masinë e shërbimit, miratimi dhe zbatimi i politikave të brendshme të sigurisë. ISP-t duhet të jenë të përgatitura nga pikpamja organizative, së bashku me këtë caktimi i roleve të përgjegjësisë, role të qarta, kush ka përgjegjësi për çfarë, dhe trajnimi periodik i stafit, mbrojtja e dhënave personale, sidomos të abonentëve, dhe në rast rreziku serioz, detyrimi për njoftim ndaj abonentëve, zbatimi i kontrolleve teknike minimale dhe detyrime më specifike për sa i takon sisteme moderne që kanë të bëjnë me IoT-n, me cloudin e tjerë. Gjithashtu, po kjo rregullore trajton edhe menaxhimin e raportimit. Këto janë, unë po zgjatem pak më shumë në këtë rregullore, sepse të gjitha këto kthehen janë detyrime për në momentin që rregulloria do miratohet, do kthehen në detyrime për të gjithë ofruesit e shërbimit. Dhe në momentin e evidentimit të një incidenti sigurisë ka detyrim për raportim ndaj rregullatorit dhe gjithashtu është detyrim vlerësimit të impaktit. Në përfundim të incidentit ka gjithashtu detyrim të një raporti përfundimtar dhe mbajtjes së një inventari të brendshëm për gjitha incidentet e ndodhura. AKEP-i merr një rol më të zgjeruar dhe kompetenca mbikëqyrëse për kërkuar informacion dhe dokumentacion ekstra nga të gjitha ISP-t, për të kryer verifikime dhe auditime sigurie dhe për të vendosur masat detyruese në rast se këto detyrime nuk janë zbatuar. Përçmëria jonë që për impaktin në treg është që rrjetet e shërbimet do jenë më të sigurta, është reduktimi i rrezikut operacional për operatorët e shërbimit dhe parashikueshmëri rregullore fal standardeve të unifikuara. Juve jeni dieni që një pjesë e operatorëve të konsideruar infrastruktura kritike dhe të rëndësishme bien për të njëjtat fusha pak a shumë edhe në kontrollin e AKSK-s dhe për këtë arsye midis AKEP-it dhe AKSK-s po dakurcohet një marrëveshje për të shmangur kontrollet e dyfishta edhe penalizimet e dyfishta ndaj operatorëve që janë në veprimet të dyja institucioneve. Një rregullore tjetër e rëndësishme që është në këshillim publik është udhëzime për zbatimin e rregullave të internetit hapur. Këtu ideja kryesore është që interneti duhet të jetë i hapur sipas standardeve të BE-s me rregulla të qarta dhe për ISP-t dhe rregulla të forta për të mbrojtur konsumatorin. Kërkesat që çfarë ndryshon në praktik? Vendosja e kërkesa minimale për cilësinë e zhvillimit e shërbimit dhe mekanizmat certifikuar për matjen e kësaj cilësie. Impakti i pritshëm është që të ketë një parashikueshmëri rregullatore më të madhe për shkak të uljes së interpretimeve të ndryshme dhe konflikteve rregullatore. Fitojmë një besim më të lartë nga konsumatori dhe një konkurrencë më të ndershme ndërmjet ISP-ve. Për të plotësuar kërkesat e internetit hapur, në fakt është miratuar rregullore për përcaktimin e modelit të përmbledhjes kontratës, i cili është një mënyrë e standardizuar e paraqitjes së kontratës midis operatorit edhe klientëve, e cili duhet sjellë kosto administrative të reduktuara në afatgjat, pasi duhet të përdoret një mënyrë e standardizuar dhe udhëzime të qarta për plotësimin e kontratës. Detyrimet për operatorët janë përdorimi i detyrueshëm i këtij modeli, vendosja në dispozicion e përmbledhjes kontratës ndaj klientit përpara lidhjes kontratës, edhe respektimi i formatit dhe përmbajtjes në këtë kontratë. Praktikisht ndryshimet që vijnë janë që do kemi një model të vetëm për gjithë tregun, duke eliminuar formatet e ndryshme, më shumë disiplinë në informacion, sidomos mund të evidentohet më mirë diferenca në çmime, në shpejtësinë e internetit dhe në penalitete, edhe më pak rrezik për keqkuptime nga konsumatorët, duke ulur konfliktet në këtë pikë. Analiza e tregut, rregulloria për analizën e tregut është shumë e rëndësishme, sepse bazë të kësaj rregullore do evidentohen operatorët me ndikim të ndjeshëm në treg, dhe rregullimi do bëhet selektiv dhe i bazuar në analizë. Vetëm për këta operatorë me fuqi të ndjeshme në treg do kemi masa rregullatore, ndërsa pjesa tjetër e tregut do operojnë kushte të lira dhe konkurruese. Fokusi i rregullimit është vetëm aty ku konkurrenca nuk funksionon dhe AKEP-i ndërhyn vetëm në tregjet ku konkurrenca nuk është efektive, por pas analizës së tregjeve. Jo të gjitha tregjet rregullohen automatikisht, prandaj rregullimi do jetë ex ante, i targetuar dhe proporcional. Identifikimi i operatorëve me fuqi të ndjeshme në treg do bëhet vetëm këta operatorë, siç e thash, do i nështrohen detyrime specifike rregullatore dhe vlerësimi do bazohet në kritere ekonomike dhe konkurruese sipas udhëzimeve të BE-s. Një ndryshim kyç që vjen me këtë rregullore është që pozita dominuese nuk prezumohet, por provohet përmes analizës së tregut. Detyrimet e reja janë vetëm për operatorët me fuqi të ndjeshme në treg, dhe do ketë detyrime transparence, mos diskriminimi, detyrime për akses interkoneksione të tjera. Monitorimi i tregjeve do të bëhet periodik, sepse tregjet e rregulluara nuk ngelen gjithmonë të tilla, dhe AKEP-i duhet ta bëjë këtë monitorim periodik duke reflektuar dhe zhvillime teknike dhe ekonomike. Impakti i pritshëm treg është që konkurrenca të jetë më e ndershme dhe më e balancuar dhe të shmangi mbi rregullimin e panevojshëm. Është rregulluar për dhënat statistikore dhe financiare periodike, e cila synon të sjellë një raportim më të qartë, më të standardizuar dhe më të parashikueshëm për operatorët. Nga ata kërkohet që raportimi të jetë periodik, i detyrueshëm, i të dhënave statistikore dhe financiare, përdorimi i formateve standarde të cilat janë përcaktuar në rregullore, respektimi i afateve të unifikuara të raportimit. Praktikisht ndryshon të dhënat me struktura ndryshon fakti që të dhënat që do marrë AKEP-i kanë struktura të krahasueshme, procedurat e qarta ka procedura të qarta për verifikimin dhe korrigjimin e dhënave dhe më pak paqartësi se çfarë duhet plotësuar kur dhe si. Impakti në treg mendohet të jetë ulja e barrës administrative përmes standardizimit dhe vendimmarrje rregullatore më e drejtë e bazuar në dhëna reale. Gjithashtu monitorimi i tregut do të jetë më efektiv. Rregulloria për zbatimin e regjimit të autorizimit të përgjithshëm. Ky po në vijim të direktivave dhe të frymës ligjit ngelet përsëri i thjesht, por është bërë më i strukturuar, më i kontrollueshëm dhe operatorët duhet sigurojnë përputhshmëri të plotë me kërkesat e reja të njoftimit dhe kjo do aplikohet si për operatorët e rinj dhe për ata ekzistues. Njoftimi dhe regjistrimi do jetë më i detajuar në AKEP, sepse do ketë zgjerim përmbajtjes informacionit, deklarim kapaciteteve teknike, ligjore dhe financiare si kusht për ushtrimin e ligjshëm të veprimtarisë, regjistrimi elektronik në bazën e dhënave të AKEP dhe pajisje me një certifikat konfirmimi pas regjistrimit. Detyrimet e reja në përditësim dhe ndryshimin të dhënave është fakti që të gjithë operatorët janë detyruar brenda fateve të caktuara të raportojnë ndryshimet dhe këto ndryshime do pasqyrohen në regjistrin elektronik shoqëruar me pagesë administrative. Ndryshim shumë i rëndësishëm është që mungesa e njoftimit ose vonesat në deklarim mund të konsiderohen dhe shkelje rregullatore. Kjo rregullore duhet sjellë rregulla të qarta edhe për çregjistrimin nga autorizimi, pagesat administrative dhe tarifa do jenë të standardizuara, periudha kalimtare për ISP-të ekzistuese, siç e thash, do aplikohet edhe për ISP-të ekzistuese dhe do ketë një periudhë kalimtare 3 mujore nga rira në fuqi e rregullores. Gjatë kësaj periudhe 3 mujore kalimtare, të gjitha ISP-t duhet njoftojnë sërish AKEP-it sipas formularit të ri dhe të pajisen me certifikatën e konfirmimit. Inspektimi veprimtarisë sipërmarrësve të rrjeteve të shërbime komunikime elektronike. Inspektimi do kalojë nga një proces sporadik në një proces me mekanizëm të strukturuar dhe të parashikueshëm, i bazuar në risk. Inspektimi kryhet kryesisht mbi bazë risku, sipas planeve do kryhet sipas bazë risku, sipas planeve vjetore dhe mujore të miratuara nga AKEP. ISP-t me peshë më të madhe në treg, me numër më të lartë përdorues, histori shkeljes apo ankesa të shumta kanë probabilitet më të lartë për të inspektuar. Përjashtimisht inspektimi mund të kryhet edhe jashtë programit. Në rastet sidomos e iniciuar nga incidente, denuncime apo situata të tjera flagrante. Rregullore duhet sjellë rregulla më të qarta për procesin e inspektimit, sepse inspektimi do bazohet në një urdhër inspektimi, i cili do njoftohet paraprakisht, vetëm në raste të veçanta mund kemi mos kryhet njoftimi paraprak. Dhe gjithashtu është mekanizmi një të drejta që ISP-t të jenë absolutisht të njëjën me urdhrin e inspektimit, të jenë pranishme gjatë inspektimit, të paraqesin shpjegimet dhe të kundërshtojnë gjetjet me rezervë. Detyrimet më të forta, kjo rregullore sjell detyrime më të forta për bashkëpunim nga operatorët, të cilët janë detyruar të lejojnë akses dhe vënë në dispozicion infrastrukturën dhe dokumentacionin dhe pengimi ose mos bashkëpunimi gjatë inspektimit përbën kundërvajtje administrative. Gjithashtu kjo rregullore merr parasysh edhe masa urgjence dhe kompetencat të zgjeruara të AKEP. Kjo në formën e masave urgjente me efekt menjëhershëm, të cilat mund vendosen nga inspektorët si ndalimi i funksionimit të pajisjeve, bllokimi i pajisjeve e tjerë. Masat urgjente, kjo është e rëndësishme, nuk pezullohen automatikisht nga ankimimi. Ndryshimi i rëndësishëm në këtë rregullore është që rritet impakti i menjëhershëm i inspektimit në rast shkelje serioze. Ndërkohë, kuptohet është rregulluar edhe e drejta ankimimit dhe transparenca. ISP-t kanë të drejtë të ankimimit si në Këshillin drejtues të AKEP-it, ashtu edhe në gjykatë administrative. Pakesa vullnetare sjell një ulje brenda 3 ditëve sjell një ulje të gjopët masë deri në 15%. Rregulloria e fundit, e cila prek një pjesë për jush në fakt, si ata që operojnë në fushën e komunikimeve voice, është mënyra e zbatimit të portabilitetit, i cili duhet bëhet më i thjeshtë dhe më transparent, dhe risitë në këtë rregullore janë respektimi i drejtës përdoruesit për portimin e numrit edhe një muaj mbasi është mbyllur kontrata, kufizimi i refuzimeve të kërkesave për portim, vetëm në raste të parashikuara shprehmisht në rregullore ose në ligj, detyrimi i operatorit për të informuar qartë përdoruesin për arsyeën e refuzimit, zbatimi i statusit pezull ose miratim me kusht për kërkesat për portim, në rastet kur ka paqartësi ose detyrime të papërfunduara dhe detyrime të reja për operatorët që shërbejnë ofrojnë shërbime me rrjetet e tjerëve siç janë më vënohet. Gjithashtu ka dhe një ndryshim në formulën e financimit të shpenzimeve të CRDB-s që bën një shpërndarje më të drejtë të këtyre shpenzimeve. Impakti në treg i pritshëm është që të ketë më pak ankesa dhe mosmarrveshje me përdoruesit dhe konkurrencë më funksionale. Unë duke falendëruar për vëmendjen, do doja edhe që t'ju kërkoja për pjesën e rregullore që janë akoma në këshillim publik, të merrni pjesë dhe të shprehni opinionet tuaja. Për çdo pyetje në pjesën tjetër të seancës jam i gatshëm. Faleminderit.
Okay, thank you. So it's coffee break time. So please, 15 minutes and we'll be back. Use the coffee break to make good conversations, have some time for you and for people that you don't know. Remember that after the coffee break, there will be Peering DB update with Livio Morina, ISOC update, and the final panel. Thank you. Hello. Everyone is still out. Let's start now. um, they will come. Qua bisogna che faccia una butta dentro perché aspetta che glielo scrivo. Mr. Livio Morina. Where? Ti ho visto. E se te lo porti tu, meglio, grazie, perché non me l'hanno provvisto. Non ce l'abbiamo qui. E qui no, perché da altre volte ho gli altoparlanti fuori, tipo treni, tendon. Ah, ho presente, c'è Coso che lo fa benissimo, tra l'altro. O mandiamo il presidente in giro con la campanella. Dadan, 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 dadan. Dadan, 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 dadan.
Hai sensibilizzato anche gli altri solo me? Ho sensibilizzato anche gli altri. Ma se l'applicazione con la campanella, cos'è? Ce l'hai tu? No, però penso che si possa risolvere come...
Okay, thank you everyone. If we come back, we have to start. Otherwise, our lunch will be too late and we will miss some plate, I think. In the meanwhile, I want to remember everyone that in the afternoon, there is not only the BGP workshop, this place will have more than 10 tables available for one-to-one meetings. You received an email to book your meeting, but anyway, if you didn't, you can do here, come here, all the afternoon till 6 p.m. All the tables are available. You can manage your connection with anyone. So it's a great tool. So let's start, otherwise I think the people outside will not come. Even if we are not so many now, I will say that again. I not only want to say thank you to our sponsor, but I also want to remember you that our sponsors are here. So RIPE NCC for the questions, Convergenze, and also Flex Optics. Flex Optics is very easy to see because Esther has a orange t-shirt. So if you need to know something more of what they can provide you for your everyday work, please feel free to get in touch. So now we can go on with our presentations and PeerInDB. A lot of you already know PeerInDB. It was mentioned before by RIPE NCC. PeerInDB is a crucial tool for the existence of our ecosystem. It's not just like a tool. It's much, much more important for anyone who's working with BGP. So I don't want to say anything more because today we have here the Vice President of PeerInDB, Mr. Livio Morina. Thank you, Livio.
Thank you. I start. I'm Livio Morina. I'm the Vice President of PeerInDB. PeerInDB is an association. Do you know PeerInDB? Is there here anyone that never heard before PeerInDB? Okay, just a brief introduction, if I can. Technical support. Okay. But can I do by myself or where? Yeah, okay. PeerInDB is an association. It is a non-profit based in the States, and the main goal is to facilitate the interconnection of networks. This is the reason that took PeerInDB online. So this tool is totally free for everyone. Every AS number, every network can register their own network, and also data center can register their own data center. I will show you how important it is to be present on PeerInDB. Yes. All the association is based on volunteers, so you can join us, you can help us in different areas, and we are very happy to welcoming you if you want. This is the board of the directors. I am the one of the 5 officers, but there are elections in April. 2 seats are going to expire, so there will be new faces in the next presentations. And also, I will go very, very fast on this part. We have 4 committees that are managing the aspects of the association. There are a lot of faces. You can meet these faces around the event in the community, and if you see someone that you know, you can stop and ask. We are always free to give you information if you want to go deeper in something. We are available. I'm also available now or during the aperitif in the evening for any question. How to access PeerInDB? PeerInDB is a website, so you can just look, open the website peerindb.com or .net. And you can browse the data of PeerInDB. You can also access to all the data through the APIs. So if you have your own system and you will see what are the data shared on PeerInDB, you can decide to interconnect your system to PeerInDB to retrieve data, as a lot of operators are already doing. New future. I said new because last presentation here was 2018. So I'm taking the new as last 2 years. We added new objects. So now we have the carrier object and the campus object. So not only the networks, not only the data centers, but also the data centers that are interconnected to each other and the operators that are able to carry you from one data center to another. Register with these objects is still totally free. So anyone can register and can be found from decision maker. Because if I want to join a market, I can check the database and decide where to go, what are the options, and so it is an advertisement that you can have for free. We also integrated our database with a KLM file, so you can download the KLM and see worldwide all the data centers available in PeerInDB. It is user-maintained PeerInDB, so if you have a data center, you have to insert it. So data centers are interested to be there, so more or less we have good information, and this information can help you to take decisions. We also have PeerInDB PY. It is a way to run the local database of PeerInDB on your laptop, so you can just download the differences from the database every hour, and you get the queries locally, and so it is even faster to run in your integrations. Some news, yes, we have the 2-factor authentication that is now mandatory. We moved to containers. We have a a good number of how-tos. I don't want to say a huge number because it is not huge, but if you have no idea about PeeringDB, just go on the website and check the how-tos that will help you. And some statistic about our year. This slide has been released 2 weeks ago, and the growing of PeeringDB is evident for us, so we wanted to share this information with all the community and also with our sponsor, because since PeeringDB is a non-profit, we don't have officially someone that is sustaining us, but the sponsors. The sponsors are paying for the activities of PeeringDB. This is the point of view of PeeringDB for Albania. As you can see, I cannot read all the data, but there is this is the number of the internet exchanges, that is just one in Albania, so ANIX. And these are the number of AS numbers that are present in the exchange, 20 AS number. Of these 20, 10 are from Albanian networks. This is the colo facilities. So in 2026, you have 6 data centers ran by 6 operators, 6 owners. In this data center, there are 14 networks, and 9 of these networks are from Albania. The total AS number we have in PeeringDB that are in an exchange or in a data center are 26, 14 are from Albania, but in PeeringDB we have a total of 22 Albanian networks, but checking on RIPE and the other RIR, there are 129 AS numbers in Albania, but only 22 are on PeeringDB. So there could be different reasons, because some AS is used for private purpose. I don't want to go deeper in this point. And what I can say is that on internet, 120 of these ASs are announcing something. So they are used, but they are not on PeeringDB. Without being on PeeringDB, you could have problem because, for example, Meta or Cloudflare is not giving you the direct session to exchange traffic. A picking session is not possible with Meta if you are not present on PeeringDB, because Meta and also Google based the automation on PeeringDB. So without a record on PeeringDB, you can get the traffic from Meta only through a third party that is present on PeeringDB. So you lose the opportunity to get direct traffic, reduce the latency, and all the pluses you can have in an internet exchange. Just to show you how the KMZ work, it is very easy. You are looking for something in an area, no problem. You can download here in the homepage the KMZ, and in the KMZ you can see the, I zoom on this area, and decide where to go. I want to go to Albania, okay, but let me check in details what are the facilities in Albania. I click search, and I get that Albania has 6 data centers, as I showed you in the statistics before. And these 6 data centers are located here. So we have a detail of the positions of the data centers. This helps you to understand and to decide what to do, because it is an important information to go ahead with the project. We also introduced a new function that is in advanced search. This has been introduced in October, if I'm not wrong. This helps to search for the connectivity. If I want to search, let's say that I'm Russia, and I want to see where Russia is sharing the exchanges with Meta in this case. And in this stats, I see that Meta is available in a lot of internet exchanges, but the only one that is shared between Meta and Russia is ANIX. So there is this green line, and this helps to understand where I'm connected now, where I could connect if I don't have a shared network, shared exchange with them. I can just plan to connect in a shared exchange based on this information. If you don't want to do this manually through the website and you have your own tools, or you want to develop your own tools, you can do with the APIs. And let's say that if you are lazy like me, you can say, okay, I want this query, but I don't want to write the query in the language that I'm using. No problem. We have the query the query builder, so you can copy the query in Python, JavaScript, and so on. So you can start not from the scratch, but in an advanced point. So we try to help people to use PeerInDB in a good manner. You can follow us, please follow us on the socials to get all the updates. It is an open source. You can enter on our GitHub page. You can read the code. You can contribute. You're always welcome. We have a lot of resources. I hope that these slides will be shared. In case I can send you these slides, no problem. They will be shared. Okay, I am going very fast because the important thing is that the slides are there and you will share them, so people will be able also to contact me. There is my email somewhere in the first slide. And a small announcement, in April, we will hold the annual meeting for the members. So if you want to join, you can check our social, or you can just save our QR code and join the, without registration, the day of the event. You can just enter and be present. And these are our sponsors. So these operators are sustaining us, because without the sponsor, we cannot run our containers, our VMs, our AWS data, and so on. So thanks to the sponsor, we are able to provide this service to the community. And also, the sponsors are using the PeerInDB. That's why they are sustaining us, because they are interested to have this project running well. And as I told you, it is important to be there, because without being there, if you want to join ANIX and get Meta as a peer, Meta has an automatic process. There is not a Livio that is established by hand the peering session. And without PeerInDB, Meta is not able to retrieve your IP, your exchange presence, and so on. So you cannot get the direct traffic. If you have questions, I'm here, only 1 minute over the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Livio. So this is the last presentation of the morning before the panel. I don't know how many of you really know what ISOC Internet Society Organization is, but this is the right place to be today. ISOC has been very important everywhere in the world, but above all in this area, because I supported ANIX and I supported COSIX, and still supports a lot of new community that wants to have an open internet for everyone, every time. And the best person to say that and to tell us what's going on is Hannah Creighton from Internet Society. So welcome on stage for your presentation.
Thank you very much. I feel that, well, you said almost everything I wanted to say at the presentation. So what I want to say today is just a brief introduction about the Internet Society, where we work, what we work on, with the hope of establishing more connections with you and work on more projects with you. Working, not working? Yeah, so we are an old organization. It was established when I was just a little child, 1992, and we work under one mission: the internet for everyone. Every few years, we review and revise how we reach that vision and adjust our engagements, our projects, depending on that. We are a small organization, 150 staff members, but we sit in a center of a much larger community. We have 78 organization members, and one of the latest ones is NAMIX, and I want here to thank NAMIX for joining us and welcome NAMIX to the family. And we also have 128 chapters and special interest groups, and nearly 150,000 individual members. Where are they? Well, almost everywhere, as you can see. And from that we leverage our access and our work and our engagements to reach out almost as well everywhere. So this is just some of the areas where we worked for training, advocacy, community network development, peering infrastructure with IXPs and so on, and supporting smaller technical communities, NOGs, and so on. So we worked over the past, or between 2019 to 2024, over more than 200 countries and territories, a little bit more than the UN. What we work on, as in the previous slide, we work on issues from policy and advocacy into technical engagements, capacity development, and we base all of what we do on collaboration. It is our cornerstone. We rarely delve into any venture by ourselves. As I said, we are a small organization, so we rely a lot on a huge group of partners. These are just some of the partners that we work with, in particular with the peering ecosystem, and we engage with them to understand better what is needed, how we can work together, as well as getting into practical support. And it's not just financial support. It's not just about funding. We work into promoting better regulations, more regulations that support peering, neutral, to be neutral, to be open for all, and to benefit the local ecosystem. We work on capacity development. We give partners access to other partners. We try to do matchmaking wherever possible, wherever we see that there is a need or there is a possibility for an engagement or partnership, we do that. And this year we have few threads that are ongoing, which you can be part of. The first one is our Sustainable Peering Infrastructure Grant Program, which, as you heard in the introduction, we are working with ANIX and COSIX as well on it. We started working in this region through that with the support and partnership of NAMEX again. These provide two separate grants, one for IXP development, the other for the ecosystem development, which is aimed at organizations, regional IX associations or other organizations that work to support the ecosystem. So it's not just about developing a specific IXP, but rather providing an opportunity for larger organizations to support the larger ecosystem as well. We do have the Sustainable Technical Community Grant Program, which is a program designed to provide small grants for a network operator group and other technical communities to get started, to maintain their presence, to hold smaller events and so on. We do have our series of roadshows and technical training activities, and also we provide the Pulse platform for measurements. You may enjoy the IXP tracker, which we rely a lot on PeeringDB for a lot of the data that we display and use. And we conduct multiple Pulse Internet measurement forums around the world, which you are also encouraged and invited to join, anyone that's closer to you. So the Pulse that I mentioned before, the Pulse Internet Measurement platform is built as a tool for us and as a tool for the community. We use it also to inform our work. So your information on PeeringDB, for example, having it up to date is also useful for that. It helps us understand where you sit right now, what needs to be improved, and so on. And well, yeah, that's it. That is it about us. And if you want to learn more, if you want to, well, help us with our work, you can scan this QR code. And, well, I don't know if we have any members here, probably maybe 1, 2, 3. No? Yeah, you can also become members and join the local chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we are at the last chapter of today. So I want to introduce one person who will be the moderator of this panel and has been the power horse of this ANIX meeting and a lot of things going on here in Albania. So welcome Daniele Arena. Daniele Arena will invite on the stage his guests to discuss about cross-border digital cooperation.
Thank you everybody, and welcome. And let's see if I can move the slides. Pointing somewhere, yes. So I would like to welcome all my panelists. I'm not going to call you one by one. Well, maybe I can. Genti, Alberto, Eshref, Nikos, and Renato. Can you come up? Then you will self-introduce. You will introduce yourself. Where's Genti? Yes, back there. Please have a seat in any order you would like. Yes. No, this is, I'm going to be sitting here, so it's for you guys. Okay, so we took 5 people from 5 countries that are neighbors. Let's say that one is has a sea between the country and the others, but there's Albania, of course. There's Kosovo. There's North Macedonia. There's Greece, and there is Italy, which is not in the Western Balkans, but we can see it's Southeastern Europe. So I would like you guys to introduce yourself very briefly so that people know who you are, and maybe I'll start from Alberto. You have to turn on. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Alberto Velazelkovski, CEO of Neotel Macedonia. Neotel is an alternative telecom operator in Macedonia, operating own fiber optical network all around the country. We have our presence also in Sofia with our own DWDM. Also, we are present in Vienna, in Frankfurt with rented capacity, but we will continue on that a little bit later.
Okay, thank you. Nikos?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Nick Galanis. I'm head of wholesale and commercial operations for Grid Telecom. Grid Telecom is an affiliate of IPTO. IPTO is independent power transmission operator in Greece. That means that we are interconnected for energy reasons with all the neighboring countries and Italy via cables of energy and escorted with optical cables. So we have a young company in 2019. We started to use the spare optical cables in order to create and produce telecom services to Greece and neighboring countries and Europe. It is a new company, but has old executives like myself. So we are thrilled for the opportunity to have cooperation with neighbor countries. And we have started also with Turkey and Bulgaria. We are talking with North Macedonia, and we are expecting cooperation with Albania. And we are in open discussions and cooperations with subsea cables and energy cables with Italy.
Thank you
very much.
Renato?
Good morning to everybody. Renato Brunetti, I'm the president of Unidata and Unitirreno, that is a submarine company, and the president of ANIX from some years. Unidata is a Italian company listed in the Italian Stock Exchange. And also we have our own infrastructure, fabric infrastructure, mainly in the center Italy, in the Roma region and the Lazio, but we are in Milano, Roma, Bari, and I am also president of NAMEX. NAMEX we started in 1995, and we are very proud also to be here. I see a lot of people there, and it's a very, very good collaboration. The last thing that I am doing is the submarine cable coming from Genoa, Roma, Sicily. And we finished, yesterday we did the presentation in Genoa, we finished the cable. That is a very incredible adventure that in the last 2 years we did. Maybe we can speak a little about that.
Thank you, Renato. Genti?
Thank you, Daniele. I represent Modcom. My name is Genti Daci. Modcom is a relatively new company, but me, myself, I have a very long experience and history with internet in Albania. Modcom actually covers, it's an alternative ISP and covers mostly the part of central Albania. We have, of course, we have a good interconnection with ANIX, and we have promoted interconnection with ANIX. On the other hand, we also have a very strong interconnection with Milan Exchange Mix, and currently we are trying to bridge some gaps with international connectivity and try to have this country on the maps. So thank you.
Thank you, Genti. Last but not least, Eshref.
Faleminderit. Mua më duhet të flas shqip sepse nuk mund të artikulohem mirë në anglisht. Unë prezentoj Vistën SHPK nga Suareka. Është një ISP që shërbel lokalisht në Suareka, mbulon Suarekan dhe një pjesë të Prizrenit. Ajo që na dallomi, kemi fillu me wireless në 2007, edhe prej wirelessit prapë kemi kaluar në fiber, do të thotë që në telin nuk e kemi në infrastrukturë kërkuiq. Tash operojmë, çdo klient e kemi me fiber në shtëpi dhe komunikimin me klientin e kemi deri në 1 giga me çdo klient. Ajo që dua të veçoj është që ne kryesisht punojmë në vendet rurale ku është shumë vështirë punohet në infrastrukturë dhe gjithë infrastrukturën e kemi diku 80% në tokë. E kemi kërmu dhe kemi shku deri te klienti në tokë me microtube. Faleminderit.
Thank you, Eshref. So let's dive into the panel and straight with hard questions about infrastructure and regulation. So the first question that I wanted to ask is, we're representing 5 countries here. So what is the biggest infrastructure constraint in your country today? So I put here some examples, but it could be something else, like access to international capacity, availability of or price of fiber, like dark fiber inside the country, or last mile connectivity, or anything else. And if there is a constraint, are there any regulations in place to address these constraints? So I don't know if there's anyone who wants to answer first or...
Okay. I see many, the main points now in your question. What I saw this morning, we are in the stage here where we was in Italy maybe 15 years ago, where regulation of 20 years, when regulation started really to allow new entry operators to be competitive. Consider that in Italy there was a very hard monopoly through Telecom Italia that was 100% before the opening of the telecommunication. And there was very important steps. First, that regulator constrained Telecom Italia to sell the duct, in particular the infrastructure duct. That opened the first phase of the opening of telecommunication. In particular, Fastweb was the pioneer to use those infrastructure. Then 6 years ago was Open Fiber, that is cabling. In Italy, in this moment, the problem is not the availability of the infrastructure, because in last 5 years a lot of work is done, but is the adoption of the fibers that is really not so fast. That means that also the investment did with the fibers is not going very well. But this is due also that in Italy there was an intermediate step in full copper, like DSL and the fibers. There was the FTTC, this is a mixed in fibers and copper that was enough good. And this means that the point to adopt FTTH was not so fast. But in general, what we see here, that regulator, we saw the regulator this morning is doing the beginning part of the work. But the real situation now that is very important is that what's happened really in the market, because one side is regulation that is in the beginning because of, for instance, Albania want to be in Europe. No, Greece is more advanced in this phase. But the real monopoly that in Italy was very strong, but imagine also other places stronger, that really the new coming operator can have the possibility to be really infrastructured and really to compete, because the resistance of the incumbent is very strong. I think this is a very important part of the story, but also in particular Balkan areas, it's necessary to have a new infrastructure, long distance infrastructure, like submarine cable, like a new way to reach the node, and also to have also don't lose the moment of the data centers. That is a new wave. Artificial intelligence needed to have a low latency data center. And I think this is a new story that we should catch, you should catch and lose, because the old monopoly still remain very strong. It's important to open the market, to address the data center requests, to have a very efficient long distance submarine cable, whatever, to well connect the country.
Thank you. Who wants to? Nick?
Hello from myself again. I will add to all the information from Italy, because I will speak for Greece. Greece is in the same actions, and like Italy, we have a separate, how do you say that, regulation, a separate regulation for telecoms and a separate regulation for energy. It's not the same, but nevertheless, access in the metropolitan area, because Greece is like half of the population is in Attica, Athens. So there are several projects that are ongoing there, for, like FTTC, FTTH, that are from several carriers. So you have several ducts and several ways in the streets, but on the same street, the other one side or the other side, or in the middle of the road. So if something happens, everyone is down. And we have also the opportunity from electrical companies to have aerial cables in order to have smart metering for energy, and also use these optical cables in order to provide internet products and broadband services directly to households and small businesses. On the other hand, long distance is a problem, because in order to reach other countries, you have to go from Athens to Thessaloniki, and from Thessaloniki to the Balkans and to Europe. And these roads are the same roads that are used 20 or 30 years ago. There are some new highways, but the new highways have their own infrastructure that is not leased openly to other carriers. So there is a lot of fibers, but not easily can be used for every company in order to serve the public. And the new data centers that are built in Attica from hyperscalers, and also the trend that you have mentioned, that small data centers are to be built near the power and not near an open space, but near the power, where they can use the power directly, so to have more efficiency, and near, let's say, where there is a green power produced as well, in order to be more green efficiency powered, and store this energy in order the excess power not to be lost and used in a data center in order to provide disaster recovery or whatever else is needed. All this has to be reached by fiber cables. These are open at the moment, and everyone is digging in order to reach, let's say, hyperscaler big data centers, or small data centers with energy power inside, or solar or wind energy providing them. So there's a lot of fuss in this area. That's all from me.
Thank you. So we've heard from the 2 EU countries. Now, Genti.
Actually, Albania is very well connected. There is very well connected locally, regionally, and also there is fiber access on all the borders. So with all the countries, there is fiber access. In Albania, currently there are 2 companies which own this infrastructure, the fiber infrastructure. These 2 companies, one is the incumbent and one is an alternative operator. Both of them are ticking all the boxes for being SMPs on this market. Currently, they are not regulated, so the market actually has, compared with the region, compared with other, let's say, neighboring countries, has a high price on the fiber. The price is quite high. Sometimes it's even double than Macedonia, if you see the benchmarks. This market is what it is, and in a certain, let's say, the extent of providing the services is somehow limited by the price. On the other side, it's also, on the data is a bit different, because there are more providers, there are more alternatives, but still the main 3 remains these 2 companies, and also it's a state-owned company which provides fiber through high voltage line. Still, the pricing on the data is considered high, considering the region. The local data Sometimes it's even €1 per megabit. It's quite high in low capacities. On the higher capacities, still the figures are, let's say, local connectivity figures. Prices are almost the same of what we are buying to go in Milan. So this is the, let's say, a snapshot of the market. The connectivity is there is fiber, there is anyone who needs, but the pricing is in, let's say, out of the range compared with the region. Actually, what, let's say, has been requested by the regulator is to regulate this market in a certain way, but it hasn't been, let's say, possible to do that. We expect that this situation becomes better in the coming months and coming years. So we expect more big operators to come here. And we see this role, we see this on, for example, Hurricane Electric is present on the country, which pushed on going on the internet prices to go where they need to be, where there is a normal price in the region. So we expect the same to happen also for the other, let's say, services, also for fiber, for data. We expect that international operators, either they buy fiber, either they buy any of these operators and, let's say, change the view and change the market. And the market has, let's say, has more breadth and has more connectivity, let's say, possibilities are, but have a better price and have more capacities. It is able to buy more capacities and it's able to provide more data. Also, we expect that Albania will not be, let's say, empty from these data centers. Some days ago, it was some permission provided by government for the data center, which is, they start with 30 megawatt, but they tend to grow to 100. And also there is a lot of, let's say, interest for other big data centers, for AI data centers, which might be very good investments. They are looking for 100 to 300 megawatt of power and investment in the range of 500 million to 1 billion euros in investments. So we expect that these investments to change dramatically all the, let's say, all the market on the data, fiber, and internet. On internet, we already see changes. On data, changes are slower. And on the fiber, not much changes. It is what it is. So this is the current situation.
Yes, big data centers need big pipes. So, Alberto Eshref. Alberto?
I can tell you a little bit how it's the situation in Macedonia. We are, let's say, in a middle in the region, and we have a good environment inside the country. Yes, the permit period, it's a little bit long if we compare to EU countries, but it's possible to get the permit. It's not closed market that somebody have only somebody have the rights to lay the cables. I will divide transport and access. On transport level, as you was able to see from the RIPE data, you will see that Macedonia is the only country in the region who close internal traffic totally inside the country. That means that the connection between the operators are well done. Even our XP, it's not active, and but even before IXP, we make private peering between us, and that is functioning for years. That means it's settled down. On transport level, incumbents are regulated. The prices are not perfect as we expected in the region, but we came 15 years ago, 16 years ago with fiber optic around the country. Neotel is reaching all the neighboring countries with own fiber optic network. We own the cables, and but if you see how we are connected and where the traffic is going, capacity and IP transit, you will see who is the open market and who is the closed market from at least from transport point of view. We are quite well connected with Kosovo. It's open market. We are quite well connected with Serbia. It's relatively good open, and we are perfectly connected with Bulgaria. It's totally free market. There is on the border there is I think 7-8 cables, independent cables. We are present in 2 border crossing with Greece, but now we will connect hopefully this year with Grid Telecom. And Albania, we are connected on the border, but the amount of traffic up to now was, let's say, very low. One point is that the price of transport in Albania is really high for the region, and that it's main thing, by my opinion, what Albania, like a country, needs to solve, because we see in the last 3 years capacity is booming. Capacity is every year is doubling, every year, and now it's a little bit challenging to match with the equipment what you have, because you plan that equipment it will last for 4-5 years. It cannot survive 3, honestly. And on the opposite side, on the access level, Macedonia, it's quite well. If you see the numbers, it's quite well in FTTH, but it's a little bit different story when you enter inside the data. You will see that in the urban area, you have 2, 3, 5 operators in some areas present with FTTH, but in rural areas, 0, nobody. And that it's challenging. Why? Because that it's expensive. And ROI, it's 10+ years. Nobody wants to invest there. Everybody are investing in the urban area.
And there's no state initiative to do that?
No, there is no state initiative. There is no state help for that. That is the challenging part. The transport part is already solved in Macedonia. There is a few networks. There is 2 big operators operating, Makedonski Telecom and A1, operating their own networks. Neotel also covering the whole country with the backbone network, with high capacity backbone network. And in some areas, some smaller operators also have a network, but prices in Macedonia for transport are, let's say, maybe 10-20% higher than in Western Europe. It means you can get a very good price for transport. 100G plus, it's normal.
Okay, thank you, Alberto. Ashraf?
Faleminderit. Do të punona të 3 pika më dhon përgjigje, ndoshta jo me renditje që shon në hierarki, po në përgjithësi. Ndëgjova parafolsin nga Maqedonia, i cili tha që në vendet rurale kanë nuk ka investitor, nuk ka. Për dallim në Kosovë, është gjendja më e mirë. Vendet rurale janë mbuluar në përgjithësi. Bile ironia është në disa vende rurale i ka shërbime dhe më të mira se në Prishtinë, kapacitet më të madh të gjitha. Këto e ka bo kryesisht të na për me apliku për shpërndarjet e internetit është lehtë, legjislatura është krejt formale, arkepi të na është shumë fleksibil. I ka dhënë leje, qatë në Kosovë janë kanë deri 150 ASP lokale, kështu si unë. Tash janë ma pak. Nështë kogjën i numër i konsiderueshëm janë ndoshta 20, kanë me 30, o janë shito, e kanë kalu pronësinë, o janë bashku me dikon tjetër. Por në këtë shtrimje nuk është gjithçka e barë, ka dhe probleme, përgjithësi për volë nivel Kosovës. Normal që infrastruktura në qytet, kur e llogaritish me klientin e fundit del shumë më lirë se sa kur e punosh në vendet rurale. Por problem tjetër është që të na infrastruktura nuk është e standardizuar, nuk është, mas thëm, është improvizim. Na mujna mu krenu që jena në çdo fshat, jo në çdo fshat, po në çdo lagje, nuk ka cep në Kosovë që fibri optik nuk është. Bile du me veçu, ka vende dhe rrym ku s'ka. Janë disa villa, disa atje fare nuk ka rrym, edhe atje kemi qu fibrin optik. Shpërndarja është, po nuk është e standardizuar. Sa i përket lidhjeve me jashtë, kompanitë të mëdha që janë në Kosovë 4-5, do të nispi telekomit, vështirë është aty me marrë fije optike me qira ose nej. Maksimumi t'japin një VPN, edhe jo shumë i shtrenjtë, por ka alternativë, kosti shpërndarësi i tensionit në altë rrymës, a lëshon fije me qira, po mundësia nuk është në krahasim me tregjet tjera në shtetet tjera, nuk është i shtrenjtë, është një çmim për kilometër sa e di unë 25 euro me gjatë të veshja. Mund me gabu, po pavarësisht aty. Kështu që lidhja kushton pak korrent, por është e mundshme për me dëpërtu jashtë. Diçka tjetër zbesoj që ku marru, po është edhe një problem tjetër. Në infrastruktura do të thotë e backbone është në rregull, ki zgjidhja. Po infrastruktura që ka kilometra më shumë është klienti fundar. E kjo në shumicën e kolegëve të mi e di që kanë probleme sepse ndodhet që në 6 shtylla duhet m'ia çu një klientit, sidomos në vendet rurale, atëna të shtylla janë çmimi pothuajse i njëjtë. 1 kilometër kushton parafërsisht nëse përdorish shtyllat e Kekot, Keko është tjetër kompani, kushton parafërsisht 23 euro kilometri. Edhe kjo e bën alo më të vështirë mirëmbajtjen edhe supportimi i klientave fundor. Tjetër problem është kontrata, ajo infrastrukturë, edhe pse ti i kish rrit kablat, edhe pse i ki rrath, ajo nuk mund të quhet infrastrukturë jote, se ajo është shtylla në prodh tjetër kujna. Del pikë pyetja edhe pronësia. Domethënë është infrastrukturë që e ki në rent, edhe më e keqja që kontrata është 1 vjeçare. Tu mund me lind, mund me ndryshu çmimin, mund mos me ta vazhdu kontratën. Kjo mjall pasiguri të shumica e investitorëve dhe ASP-ve lokale. Ky është problemi kyç. Po, jemi mundu mi delegue këto punë, po kur vjen puna te infrastrukturat e shtyllat, është pak problem, ka birokraci, nuk mundesh me marrë leje për me gërmu, edhe zgjidhja vetme është kjo. Na për shtylla dhe me shpresu që gjithmonë ai do ta vazhdon kontratën prapë në vitin tjetër. Për një biznes është problem, se bizneset planifikojnë edhe 5 vjet, edhe 10, është ky problem shumë esencial për planifikime, për zgjerim, për rritje. Këto janë, kushdo që ndoshta ku marru diçka, po kjo kryesisht është gjendja. Po, faleminderit.
Thank you. So we have seen that there are different issues in different markets. Some with the last mile, a lot with the fiber connections, especially to the borders. I mean, in some countries, especially in Albania. But I think that these moments are good to learn from each other and understand, you know, how we can solve these issues together. So we're a bit late, but I do want to make another couple of questions. Lunch was scheduled for 12:30. Let's say I'm aiming to 12:45. So I'm also asking the panelists to be brief for the next couple of questions. Another one on, oops, I'm going back, and this is not great. So another one on the infrastructure. We're talking here today, and we had RIPE NCC tell us about regional interconnection, and we're talking about digital cooperation. So the question I wanted to ask the panelists is whether the regional connectivity, so the cross-border fiber, the IXPs, or some are present in international hubs like Milan or Sofia, were these strategic assets for you, or does it give an added value, or do your customers not really care about this?
I can answer on that question. Yes, it's very important, especially for small countries like Macedonia, like Albania. It's not safe, sustainable. It's a small country. You cannot ask all the global operators to be present in the country, because there is no sense for some of them, and you must reach them. If you don't have a good opportunity for connectivity, if you don't have a good cross-border connections, it's not possible, and you will stay in that small ecosystem. The customer, at the end, we are here for the customers. The customers are more and more. They see importance of the good connectivity, because trading, it's one of them. Everybody wants to make fast trading. Now it's, you know, milliseconds in game. All the services now are going to be digital, more and more. That's why good connections, it's very important, and it can help for operators to be able to grow.
Thank you. Nick?
The same route. So from our part and Greece and our company, we have included in our 4-year business plan a full border connectivity with all neighboring countries, as well as having a big multiple 100Gs routes via major data centers in Bulgaria, Milan and Western Europe, so to have the demands that we receive from customers existing and the new evolving data centers and the customers that will be hosted in them. And we also try to make diverse routing via other wet routes like systems like Ionian or the to Africa or other cables that reach Marseille, Genoa, etc. in Italy. So to have diversity, either one route from this part and one route from that part. So diversity routes to cross border and then to reach major data centers in Europe.
Thank you. Renato?
Okay, I think the collaboration in those not so big countries, Macedonia, Albania, Kosovo, is fundamental way. Greece has a good connection, maybe another north would be necessary to cross Adriatic, maybe Bari or something, to have resilience, maybe in south and north to reach Italy. Okay, in Italian, I suggest that the Italy is the natural way to reach Milano or Roma. Roma is a program to new data center, enough good data center, maybe 3 big will be born. Milano now scaled the ranking of data center with a lot of initiative, also in the flap countries, you know, but also for North America and so on. I think that there will be one wave is in Italy, Milano, Central Europe. Another can be obviously through Balkans to go there with 2 ways, one southern Greece, with also the new data center in Greece. I think it should be necessary to that this situation that is irrational happens. And the internet exchange will be really the right place where the operators can reach those offer, not just in the end of very big international operators. I think that is possible to do locally with the middle-sized operator that are more flexible, really can catch better the demand to have a low price and have a good resilience collaborating. What I suggest that local is a very important collaboration through the internet exchange, that is another place, but also we can collaborate with the initiative like in Greece and Italy and so on. I think, and I think that this place, today we collected the 5 countries in this meeting, can be a good place where in future it's possible to try to run a new initiative, speaking with each other.
Thank you. Kenti?
So as I already said before, Albania is well interconnected on the borders. We have seen during the time quite good cooperation on the Macedonian border. So there are ISPs which had interconnection and are having interconnection there. We see good cooperation also on the Montenegrin side. So there are ISPs, we have been one of them, to have a good interconnection, mostly with Deutsche Telekom there. So it's a good, let's say, cooperation over the years that has been on these borders. We also see good cooperation with Greece. On the border of Greece, there are, let's say, we have had many times, we have asked and received service from them, from Cosmote, from some operators. Still, it's not in the level of the others, but they are quite aggressive and they have presence in Tirana. So let's say it's a good, connectivity which is working. It's in place. We also we are one of the, let's say, first ISPs, maybe for the moment the only one, which have a direct connection with an internet exchange. So currently, some time will tell if, let's say, we did the right thing, but what we currently see there is that, let's say, the ratio between peering traffic and internet traffic is, let's say, very asymmetrical. So 70% of the traffic is peering. And I wished that this peering to be in Albania, not to go so far away, pay so much money and have this peering with all these big providers in Milan. I wish that we had here all these big providers. Maybe it might not be possible for pretty soon, but for us, it's very important to have so much traffic on peering, because it's local traffic for us. It's almost local. And maybe not all of our clients can, let's say, feel this benefit. They feel it on Netflix, they feel it on their services because it's fast, it's responsible, it's high speed. But some of our business clients, they materialize it, they feel it. They feel on their, because today so many services for end customers and for businesses are cloud-based. Now, you have a direct connection with the cloud. You don't come through internet, you don't come through a big mesh, you go direct. So they feel it. They feel it and it is something good. But always we wish that this infrastructure to be local. And we appreciate ANIX and appreciate your role on ANIX, but I would advise to do more on that, to do more, to bring more big providers here. Cloudflare coming is a very good news, but it should be more than that. And this traffic has to be local. So at time before and even now, there is a lot of caches here, Google caches, Meta caches that are here. But the traffic is now so big that doesn't make sense anymore to have caches. The traffic is big enough to have peering, real peering. So this is something which is important for the country, and is important to offset all these high costs that we were speaking about before. Costs on the fiber, costs on connectivity. So once you have all these locals, then less and less you depend on international traffic. So this is the current situation on cooperation and the status of the weight of these interconnections on the services. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lenti. Chef.
Nuk isha dash të zgjatëm shumë, veç e kemi kalu kohën. Mos ta përsëris para folsi shqetësimet janë gati të njëjta, interesimi është për connection, sidomos me Shqipërinë, edhe ku kemi edhe një gjumë dhe ka dhe shumë biznise që kooperojnë në dy shtetet, që kanë një zyrë të vetme dhe dojnë komunikim më mirë. Ajo që Faleminderit. Ajo që duhet të ndesha të shtoj po edhe për klientin fundor, kur një ISP ka këtë lidhje, është i kyçën në shumë exchange-a, atëherë çdo shërbime ka më shpejt. Për shembull, po e marr klienti 4K mund me kqyr vetëm në shopping, kur shkon me blet të vend, transmetim 4K nuk ka për shkak se kërkon një bandwidth të madh. Po nëse Netflix e qet një server më afër, garant që do të rritet edhe rezolucioni edhe klienti do të jetë më i kënaqur. Kjo sa i përket çështjes klientëve, po na kemi edhe një problem shtesë, mos të harroj, pasi RIPA është sponsori i kësaj na duhet ta falenderojmë, po do ta kishim falendëruar edhe më tepër kur dan bokse, ty në select box e shtojnë edhe Kosovë, se ASN-n tonë o duhet me regjistruar në Serbi o Shqipëri. Ky është një problem shtesë për internetin e Kosovës. Faleminderit.
So I'm afraid I missed the last part. Maybe it wasn't fully translated. Can I ask some? This you got an applause. Maybe Genti, can you?
The Kosovo ASNs, they have either to register in Serbia or in Albania. So it's a problem with the geopolitical issues.
Yes,
but always they are welcomed here, but maybe AKEP, they are present here, maybe they can keep note and can somehow find a better institutional solution on that.
This is a very high-level topic, and it's really high level because it depends on the international organizations and the ISO. So it's something that we have tried to solve. We spoke with the RIPE NCC many times, but
vetëm kisha dashur me lidh me sport, jo me politik. Na UEN-i nuk jemi në UN, po jemi në FIFA. Do të thotë me rregullore na s'kem pas drejt as FIFA, po kur me shumë punë që e kanë bërë njerëz, edhe është e tejkalueshme. Ftesa për AKEP-in nuk bën, më nal në pengesën e parë, po vazhdimisht midhan edhe po pse jo dal midhana aty në Kosovë si ASN.
there is the director of ARCEP, the regulator here, and he wants to speak. Do you have the other microphone? Yes, it's coming. No. We have the other one.
Përshëndetje. Fillimisht e falenderoj organizatorin për ftesën dhe për këtë konferencë të mrekullueshme, gjithsesi edhe panelistët, të gjithë kolegët pjesëmarrës në këtë ngjarje. Do të ndërlidhem me dy çështje që i prezantoi kolegu nga Kosova, për sa i përket obligimeve, detyrimeve që ka ARCEP në rregullimin e tregut të komunikimeve elektronike. Do thonë në çështjen e parë, shtrirjen e infrastrukturës broadband në Kosovë. Ne, për informimin e juaj, kemi pasur fat që përmes projektit Kode të shtrim infrastrukturën broadband në të gjitha fshatrat fundore në Kosovë dhe mbulueshmëria arrin, do të thonë nivelin 98.9%. Kjo ka ndodhur para 3 viteve ku ne edhe zyrtarisht linjën e fundit e kemi dërguar në një fshat të komunës së Podujevës. Sa i përket mbulueshmërisë, qëndrojmë jashtëzakonisht mirë me vendet e rajonit edhe me disa vendet e Bashkimit Evropian që krahasohemi në listë ndër të parët, domethënë që kemi një mbulueshmëri. Për sa i përket cross border digital cooperation mes vendeve të rajonit dhe me vendet të rajonit, sigurisht që kemi komunikim dhe kemi trafik, të themi, me vendet të gjitha vendet të rajonit, po më tepër sigurisht që kemi me Maqedoninë, ku orientimi i trafikut sigurisht shkon edhe përmes tyre, por edhe me vende tjera, duke mos e përjashtuar as Serbinë që ka qarkullim. Për sa i përket çështjes fundit që e ngriti kolegu, edhe sigurisht që u aplodua prej të tjerëve, Sigurisht që ne si ARKEP nuk kemi nejt duar kryq, edhe kemi kontaktu institucionet relevante, si që është RAIP, edhe institucionet tjera, dhe kemi kërkuar që ne të kem domenin ton, si dhe të kem ASN tona me identifikim geografik të Kosovës. Tash çështja këtu t'i kalon mundësit e ARKEP-it ose të regulatorit me RAIP, edhe ne së fundmi kemi arrit që të sigurojmë ASN-ën vetëm për COSIX, edhe kjo ka qenë një arritje jashtëzakonisht e mirë, që unë sigurisht që e falenderoj RAIP-in që na ka mundësuat ASN-ën. Përndryshe, të gjithë ISP-t ose entitetet e regjistruara me geolocation, të gjitha për çështje të mungesës së Kosovës, identifikimit të Kosovës në dokumentet e RAIP-it, të gjitha, domethënë, janë regjistruar me geographic location ose me Shqipëri, e 4 prej tyre janë me Serbi, që kryesisht janë operatorë që janë serb. Domethënë, kjo ka qenë ajo që ne kemi mujt me arrit deri në këtë moment. Kem marrë shkresa zyrtare prej RAIP-it që në një moment të saktuar sigurisht që do të komunikojmë edhe të çojmë mundësinë që ne të kemi edhe domenin shtetëror për asa është e lejueshme dhe është e mundshme. Ne e dim situatën politike, këto janë aktualisht mundësitë maksimale që na kemi arrit deri tani, shpresoj që do të ketë zhvillime të reja dhe ndoshta t'i kemi edhe ne ato, sikur të gjitha vendet e rajonit. Përndryshe, në aspektin e komunikimeve elektronike edhe çështje tjera, bashkëpunimi rajonal është jashtëzakonisht i mirë, i frytshëm me të gjithë rregullatorët. Gjithashtu edhe përsa i përket COSIX-it që është brenda ARKEP-it, kem komunikim me të gjitha ISP-t, me të gjitha pikat e Internet Exchange-it, një bashkëpunim të shkëlqyer kem me ANIX-in e Shqipërisë, sigurisht Rashin, AMEX-in, të cilin jashtëzakonisht e falenderoj që është duke na përkrahur dhe na ka përkrahur vazhdimisht, ku përmes tyre kemi marrë një donacion dhe e kemi investuar dhe avancuar COSIX-in në Kosovë. Një informat tjetër shtyrë që dashta me shtuan, domethënë numri i wholesale ISP-ve është 6, ndërsa rreth 120 gjithsejt janë kështu lokal. Kemi pak rënje si pasojë e konkurrencës e kështu me radhë. Unë gjithsesi edhe një organizatorin në AMEX-in për ftesën, për prezencën dhe organizimin e kësaj ngjarje, dhe jam vërtet i privilegjuar që pata rastin me folën këtë rast, këtë moment. Faleminderit shumë.
Thank you, Nazim. And so we're out of time. I had other questions, but we don't have time for it unless there's anyone who wants a last word. No, Alberto?
Yes.
Yes, you win the last word.
I have a last word. I want to encourage all the operators in Albania. Invest in fiber. We was brave enough to invest 20 years, to start investing 20 years ago. We invest more than 25 million euro up to now in fiber. But at the moment we have more than 500 gig IP transit in our network. And capacity is booming. Start investing in backbone. Access, you will always be able to rent from somebody else, because usually there is a few operators who have access to some premises. But transport, it will be costly, always. And if you are on own network, you will be more competitive and you always keep the quality in your hands.
Thank you. So I would like to thank all of the panelists. Big applause for them. And I leave the last words to Christian.
Thank you, Daniele. Thank you all. It has been a very, very interesting panel, and I think that also for our audience. So we are at the end of our morning, but not at the end of the day. So thanks again to our sponsors, and again, you can meet them here today. I remember what's happening in the afternoon. So as a lot of you already know, there is the BGP workshop at the first floor with Antonio Prado. Flavio Luciani is NAMEX CTO that unfortunately was injured just yesterday, so he couldn't do it, but he wanted to be here and is watching us. So let's say hello, Flavio, if you are watching us now. It's very important to sign for the BGP workshop. So if you haven't done yet, there are the persons outside to sign your presence there. And there is the 101 meeting here. So as I said previously, there will be 10 tables. You are available to book online on your meeting tool, which is on your email, or to come here and just like to come with the person or the companies that you want to meet. If you need some help from us, from Daniele, Maurizio, or me from NAMEX, we're here to help you for any kind of questions. And let's see if it works sometimes. For the contents, I would say see you next year, but above all, see you at 6 p.m., 2 minutes walking from here for the NAMEX aperitivo. On your email, you have the right address, so you can find it very easily. So thank you again, and lunchtime for everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Здорово.